It's like a set list for a Roman band gig.
What do I write down? J. Amore. Energy was the first thing I wrote down.
Ah, yep.
Just one thing, one word that comes to mind when I think of you.
Oh, I think I get that from a lot of people as well. I get, I think, so there's a band that works. Can I talk about, on your podcast, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Can I use the names of people that I work with?
Of course.
Do I need to be censored in how I talk about people?
Nah.
All right, well, let me just preface everything with, I have no...
Get a bit closer, maybe it'll be you cut you.
Yeah.
The more close you get, more bass.
Perfect,
You sound
yeah.
rich.
Because that's what that's what I actually want to say to everyone is really, you got to know that I have always good vibes. No, but really, I have always good vibes.
Yeah.
And every interaction I've had good and bad interactions with almost everyone I work with.
We had a bad interaction.
No.
Nah, not yet.
No, not yet. It's about
Today's the
intimacy.
day.
Yeah, today might be the day. Like, Jay,
Smash
we're
it.
in it. Fuck all this. Like, but I think, do you know what, the reason why is because
You can swear as well, don't worry about it.
I'm emotional. I'm really emotional.
Right.
Like, to the point where when someone says it's all energy, I've got good energy,
Yeah.
I think they see the light side of my energy because my dark side is as passionate.
Right.
So, but the reason why I asked about, can I talk about other people and their bands and the people we work with and stuff like that is because I'm really happy to talk honestly about what I've experienced with people because I think I'm the one that's always responsible.
Right.
So even if I think, that person did this and I wouldn't have done that, or I don't think that's the way they should have done it, the end result, the overarching concept for me is I'm the one who chooses whether this is good or bad as a whole interaction.
Wow.
Like,
I think more people should do that though.
I definitely think so.
It's a healthier way to be.
It's healthy
Extreme
in the long
ownership,
run.
right?
I think in the short run, I don't think even me, generally, I haven't always wanted to. Because in the short run, you want to save face, you want to be right, you don't want to be judged, you don't want to be wrong. Like, you don't want to be the bad guy. Sometimes I ended up being the bad guy. I'm the one who was saying the thing, we shouldn't do it like this. And everyone, you can tell a lot of people think it, but they don't want to step on toes.
Yeah.
As soon as you say something like that,
So
you
this
don't
has
want to
come
step
up
on
a lot
toes.
on the previous podcast as well, like that kind
Really?
of British mentality about just being like, also not backing yourself.
Yeah.
Not backing yourself and kind of being a bit scared to say those things.
And I can't do that, man. And I think that's where my good energy comes from.
Right.
Because I am...
People know where they are with you.
I hope so.
You hope so.
I hope so. I hope so. But do you know why? Because...
No, but you're saying that you're being very honest with them and you're showing your emotions up front. So they'll definitely know where they are with you, whether they like it or not. I
think that's what I think is whether they like it or not.
Right.
Like, I think people do know where they stand with me, but I don't always think people like it.
Okay.
And I also, maybe I haven't gotten to the point where I've made it in my mind that everyone is great and everyone's perfect and everyone is good.
Right.
And that takes something. Like, there are people in the industry that I'm like, you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. But the only reason I believe that is because I haven't taken responsibility for the fact that I've put you in a position that you could be a dickhead.
Right.
Because to your daughter, you're not a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
Which means how I think about you isn't the only way to think about you. And if somebody can think you're a hero, I could possibly as well.
Right.
And
Do you feel like you're changing for people though?
No. I'm changing for me so that people can be the best of themselves.
Okay.
I'll give an example. I worked with a band called The Function Band. I talk about these guys a lot because I have taken a lot of years of my career to work with them.
Right.
I'd worked with them for about 6 years.
Yeah.
7 maybe. And no, maybe even longer. Because it was only about 2 years ago that I told them to stop booking me.
Right.
Because I used to leave their gigs and sit in the car and cry my eyes out.
Oh, shit.
And I'd be like, I don't care about music. And this is what I mean. Like, yeah, I've got really good energy, but I'd be the guy in their gigs where like, I'm not singing anymore. For the rest of this set, I'm not singing. Because you lot don't give a shit about music. You lot are pissing about. And I'm here giving my best of my talents here. And we've got 6 people on stage and we can't put together a 2-part harmony. And I'd be upset because I really want to be art. I want to be art. And I'd cry in my car and I'd call my sister. They don't care about music. She'd be like, get your shit together. Like,
thanks, sis.
You don't go there
That's
for art.
sisterly love.
She is that person. She's younger than me, but she's older than me. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And she'd be like, you didn't go there for art. You go to the studio for art. But you go to this gig to sing, to entertain, to be a performer, to make money, pay your rent, pay your bills. You got taxes coming in April, in January. Take care of the responsibilities. And
it's that initial thing as well, but often being paid less. Sometimes those gigs are the most interesting and the most rewarding creatively.
Bro, there's at least...
The free ones.
I work with... The free ones are... Because you've really chosen, innit?
Yeah. 100%.
You've really chosen. There's a couple of residencies that I do. Like, I work with Bob Knight on one of his residencies, and I'll do it every time.
Yeah.
We get fed well every time. I have salmon, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli, and
he's a good person to know.
He's a great person. He's really cool. He really cares. His brother's a wicked guy as well.
Yeah. And he does sound as well, doesn't he? Like mixing. I've heard a few people say he's like
produces, mixes, as well as plays as well. Is he sax? I think he's sax. Okay. I think Jim's a sax. But then also, you get to the venue and they hug you. They know your name. And I'm like, oh, you really care? That feels like art to me. That feels like there's a care for art. That's why when I was working with that function band, I ended up being their bad guy. I ended up being I would turn the energy of a whole night sour, because I'd be like, you are wasting our time and wasting our talents, and everyone's upset because the loudest guy in the room's upset, but it makes a whole cloud over the whole place. And I'd be like, but it's your fault. It's you. You don't care about the culture of the musicians. You don't care about the artists here. Everyone feels off.
Yeah.
And rather than taking responsibility for it, I'd make it that they have set up a bad environment, rather than I've come in and made a big deal of the bad parts of the environment.
Right.
I think that's a different perspective.
Why do you think it was a bad environment?
They are amazing businessmen.
If you can, try and get close to these people as well. So you can
they are amazing businessmen, both like father and son, great businessmen, and not as good musicians as businessmen.
Right.
And I think when you have that combination in our industry, the music gets put on the back burner.
Right.
Because there's a lot of money to make when you can put together a great brand, a great look, make really good networking connections.
Go, right?
Yeah. And their attention went on, we are going to feed the families of 50 people.
Okay.
Like, I don't know any other setup, I don't know any other company who at the time made so much progress towards making so much money for so many people.
Yeah.
Except the big agencies, except ALR and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
They made so much money for so many families. I know I bought a house because I worked with them. They were the main income that I had. There was a year they booked me 100 times. Mm-hmm. And nobody else could even think about booking me that many times.
And good fees as well,
Good fees, paid the next day.
Yeah.
The sound, they're the best sound, because they bought into the production company.
Yeah.
They were thinking way ahead. Like I said, these guys are great businessmen, which is why there were so many people they could say, don't work with anyone else. And they'd be like, okay, because if I stop working with you so I could do a spot gig for another band who's you're in competition with, you'll take away 100 gigs so I could have got this 1 or 2 gigs from another band.
Yeah.
No other band was able to offer what they were offering.
Okay.
So it became a little bit like almost a catch-22, because you want to spread your wings a little bit, but you could risk losing your income.
Yeah. How long was that when you stopped doing it?
I stopped doing it about 4 or 5 years ago now. Okay. So just after lockdowns, actually, they still had gigs for me, and I was like, stop booking me. And they were like, you can't just stop your gigs. I said, you've given me 100 gigs for the next year. I want you to cut them in half.
Right.
And they were like, we'll try, but we've got you on so many gigs. And I was like, there's many great singers in this industry. You don't need it to be me. I need you to cut those gigs in half. And they got it down to like 60 gigs. Okay. So I cut it down to 40. A lot of gigs. I cut it down to 40. I just wanted to be...
Just keep chopping.
I just kept chopping them, and they got so upset, and they were like, how can you do this? And I was like, I told you get it down to 50. Now I've got to cut it myself.
50 is a lot of gigs, isn't it?
It's a lot of gigs. This is what I'm saying. Here's the thing. I know, this is another place good energy comes from. I know that no matter what, I'm going to do well. And it's from my family. I'm from a family where everyone does amazing. Yeah. My sister's an Oxford graduate. She's amazing. Graduated law at Oxford University, and she's the youngest of 7. There's a pastor in there, and it's me. I was at Coachella last month, and I've got doctors in the family and lawyers in the family. The family is just wealthy in the mind. So I never think that I'm going to struggle. I just never thought it.
Inner confidence going on. Nice.
My first struggle was So let me not move on too fast in the conversation, innit?
Make little tits.
Yeah. I think our industry.
And that's a good thing to have though. That kind of like confidence in yourself. Because especially as a performer as well, that'll wear off on people. People see that. As soon as you hold yourself and you stand in front of them, they'll see that.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference, man.
It does. I always say you can't hide in the music. I think who you are, what you really think of yourself shows when you're performing.
100%.
If you're happy about your life, it will show. And you can fake it. I know you can fake it for a minute. You can put on the smile and you can do the two-step and you can kind of glaze over your eyes so they can't really look into you and read you. You can do that for a short while, but when you're actually playing, you then end up looking like the musician who's hiding something.
Yeah.
Or you look like the musician who's bearing it all and just isn't confident. Or you look like you're the musician who's standing tall and agrees with the universe that you're meant to be here. Like,
it's fascinating, isn't it? And also, those gigs are often long, so there's a lot of time for people looking at you.
Oh,
different
exactly.
angles, different moments. So they're looking at you like,
oh man, some of those gigs that you're there from 2 till midnight and you're on stage for about 5 hours. You got 4 or 5 hours worth of people saying, "Let me see what you're about." And even if you're in the background, you're not singing lead, you're not playing anything.
Still moving.
You're still moving.
Standing.
You're still part of the show.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
If you don't
I didn't really think of it like that.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. You can't hide. I think I've got an energetic resource of about 3 solid hours if I need to fake something.
Right.
I've got 3 hours. I can be in someone's presence for 3 hours and they won't know that I'm going through something.
In the bedroom, or was this?
Hey, you got to cut those hours down to minutes, my friend.
Seconds.
Seconds. Like, get me excited in the right environment. We in and out, baby. You don't need me for long. You can get back to your movie. I'm just not. I just think being around, like, I don't know if I'm an extrovert or an introvert or if I'm a didivert or a gigavert. I'm just.
You've been an introvert with extrovert qualities, right?
Yes.
The variations of the two.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
I think there's a bit of different stuff happening with
How do you
everyone.
process information? Because that's what a lot of psychologists say, right? That how you process. Say if you have like a problem or an issue, do you think about it, go away, stew on it, come back, then address it? Or do you talk through it with the person you're with?
I talk through it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm learning this. Like I said, my first challenge was fatherhood.
Yeah.
I found out how many of when they say like the loose threads I have. I found out how many loose threads I have in my personality from fatherhood.
Parenting is the one.
Oh my Lord. Like,
I've
never done anything better in my life.
Or harder.
And I've never felt more suited for a role in my life either. I know this girl has got me. So it's mwah. It works. Like, it really works.
Yeah.
But I've had to notice how much I haven't got my shit together. And I've found out how much I like to talk through problems.
Yeah.
Like, at length. Only yesterday, Gemma said to herself, and she thought it, and then afterwards had to come and tell me, because she's like, it's not what I meant in my heart, but it's the first thing that came to me. She said, man, this guy could exhaust me he could age me. How exhausting he is. And then she's like, she has to tell me, because just when you bear it, you can find out what's the authentic part of it. And it wasn't that she really thought that, but she did think, I've got to nip something in the bud, because I'm not where Jay goes and figures this stuff out.
Right.
Go and figure it out and then bring stuff to me, because you're supposed to be taking care of the family, not investigating and interrogating the family. Take care of the family. But I like to talk out the problem. And I think that's also where I've become the bad guy in some places, because I'm happy to talk. Why?
Yeah.
Did you not stand at the front of the stage? Why were there 2 people at the front and you stood at the back? What was going on in your heart?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't want to talk about what's going on in my heart. I was going through a freaking bereavement in my family at home.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that. We have to talk about that now, because on stage you left me at the front and you stood at the back as if I'm supposed to do a better job than you, and we're getting paid the same money. And so you're taking money out of my hand by standing at the back. And why are you trying to expose me, Jay? Like, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of thing. But I think I'm happy to talk about it, because I'm not saying it because you're bad. I'm saying it because I want to find out what your actual why is, so I can actually just understand. And I think that there is so much left to understand at the end of most conversations.
Yeah.
But because we're British, we don't want to step on toes. And we're like, it's long, man.
Yeah, it's long.
But I guess that's why I'm interested in your podcast, bro, because I get to talk.
Yeah, no,
I get
like
to talk
a
it
lot.
out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's I don't know what that is from the British culture. I listen to a few British podcasts, but I listen to a lot of American podcasts.
I like American
Me
podcasts.
too.
Man.
And I like the kind of like the boosting nature. There's one guy, there's a guy called Chris Williamson. He had a podcast. He like actually
Mind if I
lived
write
in.
it down while I'm on it?
Yeah, of course. He was like a club promoter in the north. But he tried to kind of start this career of podcasting, and he found that when he was in the UK, like there was this kind of like, oh, if this person gets this, then I feel like I will, that won't be for me then. So almost kind of like a famine mentality. And so as soon as he moved to like America, it was like everyone was just boosting him and talking to him. Like, obviously, they'll take the piss out of him as well, but they were still egging him on and still looking for him to succeed. And I think, I don't know, with the musicians that I know, like yourself and with a few of the different bands, I definitely feel that kind of mentality where it's like everyone's boosting and everyone wants you to succeed.
Yeah.
So you definitely can find them. I just think as a whole, maybe we live in a bit of a kind of an echo chamber of that.
I think so.
But as a whole, I don't know, that worries me a little bit about British culture.
It's interesting because we're in a bubble inside a bubble. Like, we're in music.
Yeah.
Generally, this is like the playground of the world. Like, everyone is kind of getting to be the most childlike version of themselves. And bro, the video right now on your Instagram, there's a video of this guy right now on his Instagram on his knees, head to the sky, bursting out notes on the sax. You only do that when you're a child. You don't. Adults, we are big men. Yeah, big men. He's got a crowd around him. Everyone's filming. It's this. He doesn't even, when he's playing on, you don't play like that on tracks, man. No. You don't know. You're performing.
Yeah.
That, you get to play around. We get to play around.
With your best mates as well.
With your best mates.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have that. No. You don't know accountants that are like, oh my God, I got the numbers for you today. Like, they're not.
Some of them, maybe.
Something right. The real geek who's found a real geek and they've really been able to get in and crunch numbers together. That's exciting. Yeah. But that's our lifestyle. It's normal for us to have fun on a gig. It's abnormal for us to not enjoy gigs. Even if it happens, which it happens, but it's the abnormality.
But you find yourself not enjoying some of those ones you were talking about before.
Yes.
And it started to drain you.
Right. And it drains you more because we're inside this bubble of this is the environment you're supposed to enjoy. And then we're inside a bubble inside that because you get to magnetize to people who are dope as well. Yeah. So even there are people in our industry who don't care. They just found out they could sing. They want to make 20 years of money and get out. They're not interested in the art and the craft of the game. They're interested in the money of it, the ease of it, in and out, have a quick career, and which is also a great space to do that because we get people that come in, give their best here, and then they get out because they don't want to be here anyway.
Yeah.
But the bubble that we're in is you're great, I'm great, let's hang out. Oh, they're great, let's hang out. And then you have a bubble inside a bubble. So you can sometimes forget that some of our industry is shit. And even aside from industry, there's some just people who are just shit or haven't figured out how to not be shit.
Or think about the music more.
Yeah.
Or have some kind of like, I think if you don't have that kind of creative outlet, because we both write a lot of music, I think having something like that really helps.
Man, I
doesn't put too much like emphasis on all those gigs where you're just making money.
Yeah.
And not doing anything creative.
It's that I think when people put so much into what could be considered a normal life, like get married, have kids, have a house, buy a nice car, go to the pub with your friends, invest in something or other, take care of your old, raise your young, the stuff that everyone gets up to, pay your taxes, pay bills that equate to your standard of life. When people get into that as their box, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, they're doing it for that.
Yeah.
No matter what industry you're doing that in, you'll lose that sense of self. I think you'll find, like you said, you'll find people who really enjoy every industry, like really passionate about it, really, oh my God. Like one of my friends studies genetic, like she studies the how food and genes have a relationship.
Wow.
Right? That's her geeking out. She does consultations about what kind of foods you should eat based on what genes you have and your history and your mom and your dad and where were they from and how the gene pool in the area and the relationship between the foods from that area. If you're Indian, there'll be like mango, there'll be cassava, there'll be more starchy foods there. If you're West African, there'll be greens with that starchy food. If you're, European, there'll be a whole load more greens and reds and there's stuff that really works for your genes. And
Oh, wow.
that's how she geeks out. She has the best time there.
Yeah,
There'll be somebody in her office who hates their career. But she won't be friends with them. She'll be friends with somebody maybe in another office who loves their career, and they get to geek out together.
Yeah.
She met her husband in her office.
Nice.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
But their meals
partner.
are...
Oh my Lord.
Energy to get from their meals.
Right, innit? Oh my God. That's so true,
much
innit?
knowledge behind everything.
I got to visit more.
Yeah.
I got to visit more. For real. But I think it's that, like, everything is, we're all making it up as we go, man.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all making it up as we go. Nobody's right.
No. No one really knows what they're doing either.
Nah, man.
No, it's all guesswork.
Yeah. That's the fun of it. There's some people who are really passionately right about their stance, and they don't know what they're doing. But also, it's nobody else's place to say they're wrong, because nobody who could judge it knows what they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so just do it.
Yeah. Try and be the best you can.
Try and be the best.
Be undeniable.
Yeah.
That's one thing I keep thinking in my head. I'm trying to be that.
What do you think will make you undeniable?
I think just relentlessly pursuing what I want to pursue and just getting as good as possible. And just being consistent. I think that's what puts someone undeniable. If you can be consistent for like the next 2 years on one little thing that you want to achieve, I think that's pretty undeniable. And also like meeting people like yourself and meeting people that inspire you and seeing them on their journey. What was Coachella like?
Oh boy. All right. Coachella's a long story.
I was thinking about this today.
Mate. Okay, you know those movies where they start somewhere either like in the middle or like 3/4 of the way through, and they give you a scene that kind of wets your lips, and then they say, and this is how it all began.
Yeah.
So I had my daughter and my partner Gemma in the crowd, 10 feet away from me. I looked in their eyes, and then I lay down on my back on the stage in front of thousands of people and screamed at the sky. So let me take you back to the beginning.
I've got goosebumps.
Right. But that's how magic the whole thing has been.
Wow.
And it's interesting. I'll say one of the really interesting things is the person who recommended Basement Jaxx Holler at Me is an old friend who's an artist called Shaka.
I see just after you got it as well, right?
Yeah.
I was with you like
Yep.
not that long
Oh,
after.
yeah. So this was like late last year. And they hollered and it was like, oh, Shaka said we should give you a shout. In fact, Shaka hollered at me and said, oh, someone's going to give you... No, it wasn't. It was, they hollered at me. Oh, Shaka said we should give you a shout. So I hollered at Shaka and I was like, oh, somebody said that they are Basement Jaxx Management. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Can you let me know who it is? And I hollered at Vula, because I know Vula works with Basement Jaxx.
Yeah.
I hollered at Vula. I was like, somebody said that they're Basement Jaxx Management. I don't know who it is. Let me know. And they both said, holler back. It is who you think it is. Holler back. Yeah. So I hollered back and it
Imagine just be like, yeah, fuck off.
Mate, this is why you got to trust. This is why you got to trust. But it was also because even the reason why I had a little bit of dubiousness to it, I hope that's the word, is because last year was my first year of being a dad. I was 6 months into being a dad. Right. And then they hollered. And I was in the middle of, I am drowning here. Like, drowning. And I knew that something has to show up and say I'm on the right track. And it can't be something that prods at my ego. I've got an ego that is like, I need it to be, I made the magic. Right. If someone else made the magic, I'm cool. But that doesn't mean what I'm up to is working. It means what they're up to is working and I'm getting the results. Right. But I needed what I'm doing to be working.
Drowning's a good way to think about it. I definitely thought, sorry to go back, but please. I definitely have felt like that at times. Yeah. Because I had twins in lockdown.
Oh, so shoot, I forgot about that.
So it was like literally like no kids.
No kids.
And then
twins.
And then you got no job.
Bro. So, we need to talk more about that. I think somebody I know, a singer called Gavin Condor. Yeah. He started doing something where he supports like dads. And because of what he went through and how he had to find himself emotionally and energetically and mentally, he was like, I'm 100% sure that more dads need the kind of
100%.
support that I was looking for.
100%.
And I don't know what his whole project is yet. We haven't talked enough about it. But as soon as he said about it, I was like, that's inspirational. That is something that we do need that. Because mums are the first port of call for offering support.
Yeah.
Even when I think of who would I offer support to as a new family, I'd go straight to what does the mum need? I was raised in a maternal family. I'm always going to push my support towards the mums and the sisters and the aunties and But dads are man, the pressure goes from 0 to 100 like that. And I think that's quite scary, man.
And also, like, for me, it was just like someone holding a magnifying glass to my own childhood. Just literally being like,
man.
this is what you went through. And I was like, oh, fuck. Obviously, you got buried just flashbacks. Loads of flashbacks or little things where, like, memories, subconscious would just go like, tick, tick, this is what happened.
Oh,
and you'd
man.
be like, so dealing with all that at the same time. It's obviously positive because I didn't, like, ignore those moments and thought, what is that coming from?
Yeah.
That must be some kind of memory that I've got to work through, some kind of trauma. So yeah, I think, but definitely that first 3 months was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember what happened. It was just like something happened. Like
Man,
I was just
twins.
Yeah.
How are you doing now?
We got another boy now, so we've got three
So you got
boys.
3 boys as well.
Yeah,
I've got a girl. I think personal experience, I think girls are chill. And I think boys are everything that girls choose not to be.
Right. What do you mean by that?
Like they run and they don't stop. They have energy and their imagination needs an outlet in the physical world in ways that I think girls don't. Girls have the fortitude to relax where boys need the outlet.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And I'm taking my experience of being a boy, which is one I've got, and some of the young boys that I've seen growing up around me, my friends having their boy kids and the difference between their boy kids and their girl kids. My daughter will stare into a room of people, just observe for a whole hour.
Yeah.
Her cousin will be running for the whole of the hour.
Yeah.
He will be running,
100%.
bouncing things, picking things off, throwing things down, exploring things, taking things apart and putting them back together. And you've got 3 of those.
Yeah. But weirdly, they're more sensitive as well.
Because of you. Is it you?
No, I think they're just, boys are more sensitive than girls. And I think that
I like that.
generally, like, because as parents we say, oh, they're just boys, they just need to run around, do that stuff, we almost don't cater to their emotions as much. So then in doing that, they're obviously more emotional, so then it's like, oh, I can't be emotional then, I'm just going to do that then, I'm just going to run around and go crazy. Whereas like, if you don't address those emotions, then they're going to be more emotional and, after that anyway.
Can you see my chasm of experience with boys show up right there?
Because they are, like, incredibly sensitive about very certain things. Yeah, they will run around, but it's often, I don't know what it is. It must be a difference in testosterone or a difference in some kind of something going on deep down, some kind of chemical difference to girls. But there's that kind of like, expression through physicality.
Yeah.
But they are incredibly sensitive.
Wow.
And I think if people don't address that or don't cater to that, it can be quite dangerous. Yeah. Because they're a lot more likely to then explode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely found that with my boys. But yeah, 3 boys, man. I love it. My house is just a bundle of fun.
Oh,
it's energy, it's wrestling.
Yeah.
It's music, all that.
I'll tell you something funny. My partner she said from early, she's like, you wanted a boy. And it wasn't that I wanted a boy. It was just that whether I got a boy or a girl, we were going to wrestle. Like, it didn't matter. We are, like, since she was about 3 months old, since she was probably too early to be like that with her, I've been like that with her.
Yeah. It's the way to do it.
It's so fun, man.
It is the best.
I knew it. Because I can't wrestle with my partner. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want it.
However much I try.
Right,
she doesn't want it.
That. She doesn't want it. She just wants me to be really fun and responsible.
You look fucking strong as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a proper wrestle.
Yeah. I want to really, really... I used to have a friend that we used to play fight, and like, if I was upset, he'd see I'm upset, he used to come up to me and be like, what's wrong, Jay? I'd be like, nothing. And he'd punch me in the chest, tell me what's wrong. And we would wrestle.
Just go for it.
Fight it out.
Yeah. You do feel better afterwards.
Oh, my Lord.
You do feel better
We'd be lying down, sofa's broken.
Yeah.
And we just feel so good, man.
Yeah,
What do you want to do now? Should we go eat? Yeah, let's get some food.
Yeah.
It helps.
But boys need that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, that release of, like, I think men need it as well. I definitely need it. If I
100%.
don't work out and if I don't do something, where if I'm feeling like that this morning I was feeling a bit just like, so I've got a punch bag outside my house. I just did half an hour on that and I felt incredible afterwards. But just something of like releasing, I don't know what it is, but releasing that energy.
Yep.
I think a lot of people will spend years not releasing that energy and then they explode or have those moments of like absolute rage.
Yeah.
You're like, where did
Where's
that come from?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're nothing like that as a dude.
I think the thing I found was I have it that my emotions carry a lot of energy, but my rationale doesn't.
Okay.
So if I have a lot of emotions going on, I do something physical, burn the energy of it, and just be left with what's logical.
Okay.
And my emotions will still feed what's logical. I'm still looking through the lens of how I see the world.
Yeah.
But it's now there's now more of what's actually factual going on for me to, I guess, disseminate, to figure
Emotions
out.
are so quick, right? It's
Mate, they're quick
like,
and they become everything immediately. Like,
Yeah.
I'm defensive. I'm mad defensive. I don't like being judged. Don't judge me. Like, say anything you want about me, but just don't put a judgmental tone on it. Otherwise, I've got my back up and I can't even see that I've got my back up. And I'm too eloquent to back down now because I can say everything I need to say and then I can prod at everything you said. And now I'm not even communicating anymore. I'm just defending.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much my emotions are there. But if I go for a run for an hour, my defensiveness goes away.
Yeah.
Like, I just take all the, my bad.
Those small things don't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Small things don't matter because what you've done has probably also been really hard.
Yes.
So then when you come back to these little things, you're like, it doesn't really
do
matter.
that. Do you know what I do? Oh my God. Thank you for that. I take cold showers every day right now. I've been doing it for about, really?
Yeah.
You seem like the type.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know the people that are like,
Believe that, don't worry.
I can, yeah. It's fun. We'll talk about that another day. Maybe when you come and sit down with me. Because I'm like, I don't think that word's as bad as some other words. But I'm Ghanaian. I'll come back to what I was saying before. Ghanaians we don't cuss, we curse.
Right.
So you won't hear a Ghanaian say, fuck you, or something, you're full of shit. They'll say something that is an actual curse. Like, you know, like ancient scripture
really?
curse.
Cursing someone?
Yeah, like, you'll be barren for 4 years. Like, it's more like that.
That's more effective, though.
It's much more effective.
It's quite harsh.
Do you know what I mean?
Effective.
So when someone says you can't, I'm like, it's not so bad.
In Australia, it's like a term of endearment.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're a funny guy.
There is no term of endearment of you will not have children for the rest of your life. That's never going to be a term of endearment. You will grow the tail of a monkey. Like, you will never, that's never a term of endearment. You're just, I am fucking up your future with this thing here in ways that are just so inconvenient that you can't let go of the fact that I've said it to you. Like,
I find the cold showers, the actual stats
that's
are
what we're talking
nuts.
about. Really?
Like, the dopamine's like over 200% increase from what you have in the morning before you have a cold shower.
I'm so happy about that.
It's like, this morning, again, I had one of those as well, cold shower and then a little boxing session. I was like, this is what I've been missing.
It's because it's your mind telling your body.
Do you go straight in?
No, I do it at the end of my shower. So
That's
I do
when it gets
after
hard, when you
really?
just go like nothing, you just turn the shower on and it's immediately freezing, or go straight into the ice bath. I've got to do an ice bath at home as well, that's fun.
I want to get an ice bath.
We do family ice baths.
What?
Yeah, my little boys.
I love it.
Just get in and then you just sometimes just sit in there for like, I don't know, a couple of seconds, then we'll get out.
Get out. Do you know what you're teaching? You're teaching them mind over matter.
Yeah. Because they say, I don't like it, Dad, but I feel amazing afterwards.
Yeah.
That kind of like mentality.
It's such a mentality, because I can do anything after it. After I've had a cold shower, I feel like it's all possible.
Yeah.
Because my body really wanted to get out.
Yeah.
But my mind said, we've got something more important to do.
It's that thing of forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do as well.
Yeah.
Right? Just going like, no, I'm going to get in there.
That's why the dopamine hits so big for me. Because your level of self-worth at the end of that, I can do that. Yeah. You know, in my grandma's house in Ghana, sometimes the hot water doesn't come out of the tap. You only get cold water. You are almost invariably having a cold bath every day.
Yeah.
And I
cold bath's amazing.
Yeah. I haven't done that for so many years. I haven't stayed there for
So when it
10
does,
years.
like, if your boiler doesn't work, you're just a bit like, man, I don't really.
It's all right.
It doesn't really mean anything to me.
I really like that idea. I think We didn't even, when I was growing up, we didn't have a shower. We actually bathed out of a bucket. So you just
Right.
pour a lot of water into a bucket, and there'd be the bucket in the middle, my sister on that side, me on this side, and we just, up until we were about 13, we just pour a little cup, you just pour the water from the bucket onto your body, and then you soap up, you scrub down, and you pour the water to rinse off.
Yeah.
And that's what, and then you fill up the bucket, you just shimmy around each other, fill up the bucket again, and then do it again. And when I got a shower, I was like, I'm never going to have cold showers. I'm never going to have cold baths, nothing like that, because I'm now in the opulence of my life.
There for like half an hour, just loving it.
Oh, my God. There were times that I used up so much water.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It's supposedly like cold therapy and then working out afterwards. It's like if you've got any kind of testosterone things, apparently it's like ridiculous for that. I've heard
I'm
lots
going
of
to
people
try that
talk
way
about
around
that.
then. I've
So
never
doing
done it
that
that
and
way
then
around.
working out. It's supposed to be like if you're kind of feeling a bit like lackluster or losing a bit of energy. Obviously, as you get older, testosterone drops anyway, but that's supposed to be an amazing, like, free way to do it.
I'm going to try that. That's my next, because that's been my recent challenge has been, how do I get the most of myself when I'm not 100% up? Like, I know if my energy's good, I can do a whole load of stuff, but
If
what if I
parenting
wake
would
up
be
and I'm
like
a
that,
bit...
right? Parenting will
Yeah.
put you in those positions where you're like, I'm not.
I'm not up to it today, but I haven't got a choice. Well, not I haven't got a choice, but my daughter doesn't have a choice whether she gets an amazing dad or a crappy dad, and so it's up to me to make sure she gets the thing that I think she would choose if she could choose. But some days I feel all the way down. What do I do? Great, have a cold shower first.
Yeah.
Have a half-hour workout,
Yeah.
and I've realised waking up before the family's really helped.
Just having time, a little bit of time for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, man.
Coachella.
Yeah, sorry, we went there.
Right,
on a
innit?
large tangent there.
By the way, guys, this is part one of our this podcast. So after this one, enjoy it to the max, because we're going to get together again in
100%.
about 6 months and have even more stories for y'all.
Yeah.
Coach. So basically, old friend called Shaka, wicked singer. He's one of the most talented guys, and he used to gig with Basement Jacks for a good long while, and then he hollered at them and said, "I'm not gonna be around next year." He's off on a whole new adventure.
In South Korea,
In South Korea, yeah. So I don't know how much of his business he would want me to talk, but I know he's in South Korea, and that's on his Instagram.
Nice.
So, you know, he's doing good though. And so they hollered at me, and so we used to go to youth club in Hammersmith when we were young. So I was just happy that somebody has recommended me, not from this part of my career, but from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Which means, I must have been on the right track 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't impressive enough then, we haven't spoken over the past 10 years. Like, we've seen each other a couple of times, but we haven't been in contact the way we used to be in contact.
I guess you haven't performed in that time.
No, he doesn't do functions or corporates or anything like that. Right. And he hasn't been to any of my gigs. I might have been to one of his gigs, but he hasn't been to any of my gigs.
Yeah.
But we know we see each other releasing. But the reason why we're even connected to be able to do so is because we already had the connection.
Right.
If we didn't have the connection that was a good connection in the first place, I don't think we'd follow each other now. Maybe I'd follow him. He's a dope artist.
Yeah.
I'm a dope artist, but I might not have been on his radar. Do you know what I mean? But I think I was on his radar because I was one of the guys in our circle then. Yeah. And now he's hollered and said, "Oh, you should get Jay on. He'd fit the bill." And then I guess they hollered at Vula, and Vula would have put on one of her friends because she's got her own circle of friends she would have put on. But she would have had to have agreed, actually, Jay does fit the bill. I didn't know until I actually started rehearsing, I really fit the bill. They ain't got no friggin' rules, man. Like, they ain't got no rules. So there's two guys, there's Bates and Jax, Felix and Simon. And Simon he's like my sister. He's like mature. Yeah. He's reserved in some way until he's performing, and then you see him in character. But he's decisive about how he shows up.
Yeah.
So you can see he's quite meticulous. He just takes his time. He's patient, and he's really cool. Really cool. It's like deep chill.
Nice.
Felix is like the other side of the thing. He is like mad scientist.
Yeah.
So everything is this emotional expression. He's also got a young kid as well. He's got 2 young kids. Oh, nice. So he's like this, arms out, emotionally, energetically, physically. So, and I'm like, somewhere in between these two, that's where I kind of sit. Because I'm all over the place and I'm focused at the same time. So it's like, But also on stage, they're looking for just while out, man. Let the audience share the moment with you enjoying yourself. That's what their whole thing is.
Okay.
Top to tail. And then you're already a good singer. You're already a good performer. Fortunately, I've been doing push-ups and sit-ups every day because when they started putting me in the outfits, and the outfits are somewhere between Star Trek,
Right.
Coming to America, and the Supremes.
Nice.
That's where my outfit resonates.
Yeah.
And halfway through the gig, my top's off.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so happy that I've been working out.
Must you feel that?
Oh my Lord! If I was slouched over and I felt so fortunate. I had a little bit of like my abs feel good. When it comes to this summer, I'm gonna have it even more.
Yeah.
Like a doig.
You got some more gigs coming up.
Got some more gigs in the summer, yeah. So it'll be a vibe. But for Coachella, I was in good shape. And then Coachella happens over 2 weekends. So we did, before the first weekend, we did 2 warm-up gigs in San Francisco.
Nice.
And then we did Coachella we stayed in LA, did Coachella just outside LA. And then we had another gig in LA at the Fonda. And then we did the second Coachella. By the time we did the first Coachella, we were in sync. The whole band had kind of melded. We figured our stuff out. It was me, Vula, Lisa, you know, can you imagine? Lisa on vocals, she opens the whole gig. Phoebe Edwards on vocals. And so I'm like, and then we also, one of the dancers, Kira, she joins me on vocals on one of the tracks as well. So I'm the guy vocal on the gig.
Right.
And then Felix, who's the mad scientist out of the two of them, he comes on vocals as well, because some of the songs he's the singer.
Oh, right.
So I back him up. But it is really like somebody's mad musical dream happening. And Anna, this genius called Anna, has designed the set. She's designed this stage that looks like a spaceship. And she's designed the costumes. So we look like I said, somewhere between Star Trek, Coming to America. And then she's designed the backdrop that is all intergalactic mushroom trip. And inside that, I have to be a good singer, a hype man, and be in good enough shape to take my top off.
Yeah.
It's so fun. But this is what I mean about, it's all energy. The whole thing is
Yeah,
energy.
yeah.
If you don't fit in your head, it shows up on stage. And if you do fit in your head, it shows up on stage. And fortunately, the first time that my daughter had to see me perform was after we had done two in San Francisco, first Coachella, 1 in LA. They came and watched me on the second
Nice.
Coachella gig. And I saw them when I first came out on the first song I do, which is like the third song into the set. And I just saw them. And my daughter loves dancing. She's 11 months old right now. And she just sits in her mum's arms, just bouncing like this, just dancing. And then you can see little headphones on,
nice.
these little pink headphones on.
Cute.
And then she's got this group, and she's eating as well, because she eats, man. She just keeps on eating little healthy crisps. And she'll eat little carrot bites and carrot puffs and stuff like that. And she's sitting there eating, snacking, bouncing her mum's arms with the headphones on. And then she looks up and she sees me on the big screen, like to the side of the stage.
Wow.
And she grins at me on the big screen.
Wow.
And then turns and sees me on stage and starts bouncing at me. And you see the crowd around, there's like a small crowd around them. And they all start bouncing together as well. And I'm like, oh, that's what Gemma does, because she magnetizes people. So everyone around them would have known, oh, this is her first holiday out the UK, her first festival, and her dad's performing, and she's not a year old yet. So they would know all of that, and they would have all been making sure that them two are all right.
Yeah.
So when they saw that this kid's dad's out, they've all gotten excited with her as well. So they're all now bouncing, and she's now seen them all bouncing, and her hands go up as well. She's bouncing. I'm like, this is a dream, bro. It's a dream, man. It's funny because I feel like, for the most part, I thought that the biggest dream in my career would have been to be able to look out and see thousands of people and hear them singing back. Thousands. The actual dream was seeing my girl and my daughter 10 yards away from me.
Just owning them there now, just in your head. I guess there's owning them there. Yeah.
Really, bro, core memory, man. Core memory.
My boys haven't really seen me perform yet.
No!
Yeah,
why?
I don't know. I'm trying to think why. I guess there's nothing like, there haven't been any appropriate gigs for them to come to yet.
What would be an appropriate gig? What do you think?
Probably a festival. Probably a festival or something like that. Or like something in the morning, like Sober Rave. I don't know. Actually, I did a Sober Rave with Felix.
No way.
In
No way.
At Festival, yeah.
No
It
way.
was like 10 years ago.
Oh,
But he
shoot.
came along. He was like, they didn't tell me who was gonna be DJ. They were like, oh, by the way, Felix from Basement. I was like, what?
No
what are you talking
way.
about? Yeah. So it's for Morning Gloryville, which is like was a sober rave at the time.
Wicked.
And they used to get like incredible DJs coming along, like Rob DeBank, who runs Festival.
Yeah.
And then they used to have people like Fatboy Slim, above and beyond,
What?
like crazy DJs. And it would be like 8 in the morning, so they'd DJ from like 8 till 9 or something at the festival.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wicked, man.
Crazy.
Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait. I'm going to tell him. As soon we got to take a picture together then and send him.
for
Like,
sure.
oh, man.
Yeah, that sounds amazing though. I guess you would not notice anyone else there. You'd just be like,
It's just them two.
Honed in.
It's just, to be fair, do you know what, actually, interestingly, I've got, one of the things that I love doing on stage is zoning in on individual people. Like, I've got, like, I think when you get bigger and bigger audiences, you can start to phase out the individuality of people in the audience. They become one thing. But my interactions, the way I enjoy the gig is to see people have their good time. And seeing a lot of people at one time bouncing together was great, but seeing one person's hands up, or like I might do this and I see one person do it with me, and I can zone in on them and then I can connect eyes and I can choose what our next thing is that no one else is having. And I could like turn my head aside, they'll turn their heads aside. Yeah, we did it. We're locked in. And I can go to another person and I can create, or I'll take on what they do. So there'll be a girl that does that and I'll just do that quickly with her. And I like having one-to-one moments.
makes it more personal, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I basically go through my set, finding as many of those as possible. Because there's some people, I might look at them, but by that time they're looking at someone else on stage. It's quite a busy, by the end of the set, there's like 10 gorillas on stage. Like,
how many people do you reckon in the audience that when you did Coachella?
I wish I knew. I wish. Okay, so my mind said 5,000 to 8,000,
Right.
and that's a wide margin.
Yeah.
But the Mujabi stage isn't the main Coachella stage that everyone sees with the big round screens. That one, and it's open air, which means you can just see it from anywhere.
Yeah.
That one is going to be in the region of 10 to 12,000, I think.
Right.
I think this one might be between 5 and 8, and I will check the number. So maybe like if you got the edit and you just write the real number here, because they'll probably say somewhere online, where it's like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Straight across.
So I think, but it was so many faces that you stop thinking how many people, and
You're swept up in it.
you get swept up in it, man. It's an energy
And
to
their
it.
music as well. It's like I was just after I'd spoken to you. Me and my wife like just put on like a This Is Basement Jaxx playlist.
Oh, wicked!
Just to listen through, and I was like, "There's so many fucking bangers."
So many bangers.
You just forget how many bangers there are, and they're so different as well.
Yes.
Like, Where's Your Head At? Where's My Head At? Whatever it's called, and then even things like Yep. That tune is so different from all the other stuff.
Oh my god!
And then Red Alert.
Phoebe sings that one. Do your thing.
Yeah, do you
And
think?
Phoebe Edwards, her voice, she sounds like an
West End
alto
shows,
sax.
right?
She did Michael Jackson. She did. Is it called Michael Jackson? It was the Michael Jackson
Show in the
musical
West End, yeah.
on the West End. She just finished it, and she had to take a break from doing it to come to do the US gigs, and then afterwards went back to do her final gigs, her final shows there. I don't know anyone who sings like her.
Right.
In fact, everyone who's on stage, like Vula, she's a national treasure, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I could be a national treasure if I put in the work that she's put in. She's put in the work, but she's already that talent who is a national treasure.
I've never heard anything like it.
No one has.
No.
No one has heard anything like Vula. She's one of the only people that I know in the UK who can go by their first name and their first name alone.
Yeah.
And have the level of love for her talent and her person at the same time.
Yeah.
Vocals are wild. And Phoebe, vocals are... She sounds like... I love people who sound like saxophones, by the way.
Right.
Like, she sounds like a alto sax.
Okay.
Her range is wild, effortlessly wild. Like, it's like it opens up into the higher parts of her voice. You know, like you hear people, when they get higher, it closes up.
Yeah.
Hers
And
opens up
sax
into...
players.
Yeah,
Definitely. It's the thing you got to work on.
yeah.
Just staying relaxed when it gets up there.
Like, it's nice to have the tone of the push,
Yeah.
but that open release is just gorgeous. That's where she sings. hearing that on the stage, you're like, you're supposed to be on this stage. You're supposed to be on this stage.
Yeah.
There was a moment in the second one where we came off stage and Cynthia Erivo was standing side stage watching us perform.
Wow.
And I was like, what on earth is going on? What's going on? And the thing is, I didn't even notice it was her. It was her and her partner at the same time standing there. And I was like, what are you guys doing here? But I was trying to get my ears sorted.
Yeah.
So I didn't even really check it was them.
Technicalities you're talking about.
Yeah. No.
Sorting your ears out.
I saw it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Imagine. for those who don't know, innit? Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
How many of those do you think there are? Things that we think about it frequently, but we don't. We talk about it frequently as well, but we don't think about how few people know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like in-ears. If I say, I got my in-ears, I say that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think about how few people know what that means.
What's that?
What's your in-ears? Do you know what I mean? You got wax?
Inside your ears.
Yeah.
That's true. And even like EQ or like certain things that we're saying.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah, what would you call those? Kind of in parts of the knowledge, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, in-ears. By the way, in-ears are in-ear headphones.
Yes.
So that you can listen to different people on stage.
And they go deeper into your ears than most other headphones would. So you get a more intimate sound. It's fantastic.
Stay tuned for more knowledge.
Right, innit? That's a whole other podcast of you just holding up.
Stuff running, like all the text running on the bottom of the screen.
That would be wicked, though.
Infomercial.
I think
that like lift music.
Yeah. EQ.
This.
Fader.
Like, it's a microphone.
Yeah. That's such a big... It's such an interesting thing that not everyone... And then I think to myself, like, again, you magnetize who you like. So it's most likely that the closest people to what you already know in the world would be the first people to get access to your podcast, for example.
Yeah.
So you'd have a lot of people who might already have, without you having said anything, put in the comments, oh, for my sister who was watching this, who didn't know, IEMs are this. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which is, I think, another interesting thing of why you just do your thing.
Yeah. Do your thing.
In it, I wrapped it around.
Yeah. Come all the way. So so you brought up in West London then?
I'm from Harlesden, yeah, Northwest. Okay. So for the record, back in the day, when you go to like a rave or like a comedy night and they ask, where's everyone from? Where's everyone from East London? East London goes crazy. Where's everyone from South? South London goes crazy.
Yeah.
North London goes crazy. West London goes crazy. And then everyone from Northwest says, what about Northwest?
Right.
Northwest has its own thing going on.
Okay.
In a way that Southwest never does, Southeast never does, and nobody's from Northeast London. Nobody hails Northeast London.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But Northwest has its own thing. Harlesden, Stonebridge, Wembley, Neasden.
What's Kilburn classed as?
Kilburn, Northwest.
Okay. I've lived in Kilburn.
I used to go to youth club in Kilburn. I used to go to youth club called Granville.
Okay.
That at least 10 of the kids that went to that same youth club, I still work with now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Industry, man. Industry. Meshach Spooner, Meshach Broderick, Annabelle Spooner, my partner Gemma, Gemstone, Ishma, his older brother Zalon. Who else? My boy Ash King. He's now a big time Bollywood singer. Like, I can't think who else right now. Cleo, Stella Ray, who also is in West End. Who else? There's man.
There's little pockets of talent.
We all just grew up together, and we just in one little pocket. It's similar. It feels similar to the first R&B act that I saw do really well in the UK was called FDM, and it was like a boy group that felt like our thing, but felt like they could compete with like B2K at the time, and they could all dance, they could all sing. I used to see them on tour a lot, and the lead singer is a guy called Jermaine Riley who works in the industry right now, and one of the boys who was in that group was a guy called Varun Wade, who's like writes a lot. He did a lot of stuff for I think LMA, and so he's done well. And then another guy called Kyle, who was phenomenal. And then they were friends with another singer that I know who was in a group called Trinity Stone. Okay. Trinity Stone had Cherry V in it.
Nice.
And they were all friends. And then the producer, one of the other guys who's a writer, a producer called H Money. Now he's gone off and done well, and he's produced for like, I can't think who right now. Like big, like Brandy and stuff like that. He's really done great work over there. And then there was another producer called Deanie Boy, and he's like, they were all one little community there, and they were all from South.
Wow.
And I used to look at them and like, oh, we got our community here. I'd look over the fence and be like, whoa, they're really doing it, man. They're really doing it. Like seeing pockets of like talent around the place.
Yeah.
Like,
Was it education for music as well in those places, or what was it from? Was it playing together? Was it like people educating in a certain
it was
way?
just from, so Northwest, I think we grew up on just youth clubs, man. Like it was all youth clubs. So we started with a youth club.
Was there music in there? Must have been music in there.
It was, yeah. Oh, I didn't even say the part. It was a youth club that had different things. So one would have a textiles thing, one have a dance class, and everyone who would come to our one was all wanted to be singers. So it was like a singing class, and there'd be like one guy called Winston Small, and he'd just have his keyboard in there, and a guy called Scratch who'd come on either bass or guitar, and they'd plug into some amps, and we just hear those and pass 2 microphones around the room.
Nice.
And whoever gets the mic has to make up a verse on the spot. Just figure it out, take the chord progression, make up anything you want. And then at the end of that verse, when it feels right, it feels like it's the end of the verse, somebody in the room just starts singing a chorus made up as well. Everyone harmonizes that chorus, find a harmony, we all harmonize it together. And we would just do that for 3 hours every Tuesday and Thursday.
Wow.
That was our youth club. You go in, you sing together for 2-3 hours, and then you leave and you just like slowly mill home after it.
There's a freedom to that, like making them the lyrics and making the just from your
freedom,
ear.
Fun. You get over that shyness. I know one like
music
one
is amazing for that when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh my god, doing gigs and like performing and
you just get
doing
over
stuff
it.
in front of people.
At the end of the summer, there's Brent Summer University where they would just everyone who could sing, everyone get to at the end of the summer come to Copeland High School and just perform. Everyone come and do a set. Everyone come and do a song or 2 songs, sing together. Groups, soloists, everyone just go and sing, and we'd all just flock to there every summer and sing, man.
That's great. I think that's lacking a bit in musical education.
They pulled the money out. They pulled the money out.
Right.
Like I think they had whatever our government has chosen. They've chosen to put the money into other things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is why I think the money's got to come. All the resources have to come from us now. Because I don't know who they is, but as a country, we have chosen that art, which is the communicator of all people, doesn't need as much support as it used to get.
Yeah. Or definitely music as well, because people still, I don't know. I think in London, it definitely went through stages of them trying to get people to learn, like every child having to learn an instrument. I think definitely went through that. Yep. But I taught in schools for like 15 years.
Wow.
And it got to the point where I was just starting to get frustrated.
How come?
Just because it was less about the students and more about like numbers and just about grades. And I was just like, this for me is not, I'm thinking with this kid, like as soon as they come into my lessons, I'd say like, what do you like? What? Because I've got a good ear, if they say something to me, I can quickly work it out and I can then write it down for them. If you do that for a student, like they're like, what? What are you doing? We're going to do something that I want to play. They could play some Drake. They could play some, I don't know, something from some Star Wars, something from a film they really like. We did loads of like Mandalorian songs from loads of Star Wars.
Yeah.
The kids were like, why have we never played anything like this before? It's because I tried not to just jump through the hoops. Yeah. And I've also got the ears that I could go, okay, let's just work this out now and we can do it. But for me, it just got to the point where it was like data.
And you're fighting against the fact that the school just wants the data.
Yeah. And if someone above me was getting told off by someone else, I would then get the brunt of that. And I was just like, this is not why I got into this. It's not why I got into this.
But the thing
it started
that really
taking like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
it started taking my energy. And as soon as my energy started getting taken, my time, I was just like, I'm out. And it's the best thing I ever did.
How do we get that kind of opportunity for a younger musician, even though the system, the education system set up in that way, the community system in terms of like what they allow in terms of community access and community resources is set up in a way it is, where there's fewer youth clubs for music, there's fewer resources for music.
Yeah.
There used to be a music class and an art and a drama class at the back of my church. None of that kind of stuff in even the community anymore. Schools are just going for the grades of it. My music teacher in high school said, I'll give you the studio keys to the school studio, so you have unlimited access as long as you stay above a C grade in every single one of your GCSEs.
Right.
I was like, I don't know who would have gotten that access now.
Yeah.
I just don't know it's available. I don't know that
But
it's
that's
available.
such a good motivator, though.
It was.
Because you were like,
I passed everything flying colours
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that I could keep those
what's
studio
the
keys,
basic
man.
like human psychology, isn't it? Just
Exactly.
give them a reward.
Yeah, just give them a reward. Give them the reward that they want, and say,
Yeah.
well, you can get the reward you want if I get what I
Just
want.
put this bit in, this energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we still get that? Because someone like you, who's able to give that creative world to a
Yeah.
young musician, is being discouraged from being in that position.
Yeah. I think I would love to start my own little school. That's what I'd love to do
Whoa.
more, because then you got
Amazing.
full control. It wouldn't even, to be honest, what I enjoyed most when I was growing up, we were in big bands. So big bands was like a big thing. So we'd be in like, there'd be 35 of us to 40 people.
Amazing.
And we get to travel the world and do stuff through that big band. So that's something I'd like to do.
Wow.
Where you've got like a collective of people, and people are coming when they're not in school. So I
Yeah.
guess they come from like, it's almost like a club. They come from their own fruition, and then they pay the money, and then basically just learn that way. I think that's
amazing.
the way I think more people will start to go.
Yeah.
Because then you don't really need, because it's direct to the people. You don't really need any of that funding. All you need is a space to do it.
Yeah.
Which
Let's see.
inevitably, if you got one or two people along, that will have paid probably for that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be on the
Amazing.
rise more.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It's a shame. Yeah, I don't know why it's become more like that.
Well, I mean,
Because, like you said, the money's not there as much.
the money's not there, but it's, you know, that cycle of hard times make strong people, strong people make good times, and good times make weak people, but weak people make hard times, and that goes around in its own little circle. I think it's just a little circle. I think at some point, because I don't know, there'll be a necessity again for youth clubs that have music in it, or there'll be a relaxation on grades in some way, shape, or form, or a new influx of interest in there being music and art, especially music in schools.
Yeah.
And it will just come round. And at that point, again, there'll then be another reason to be like, oh, we need that money somewhere else again. So it will probably go round. And I guess it's whoever stays in the position to be of value for when it does come around again. Just like fashion.
Yeah.
You know, if you wear skinny jeans for long enough, it'll come back round again. Like, it's that. And I think it's the same thing in music. But in this interim, who is willing to be, I guess, patient with the world enough to say, music is staying. So whatever I think is supposed to be there, I'll make it available. And as soon as you need it, it's there. Rather than I'll try and build it when I see the need come back round.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it's seen in all kind of classes as well. It's not really like it's a specific thing for just one class system, because they really push it in private schools. It's like a big thing. Like a lot of people I know teach in private schools, like Eton and places like that, and it's pushed to a large extent. So it's not even like it's a class thing.
Right.
So I don't know why the money's been taken immediately from there, because it's definitely a thing that those kind of people, like politicians, would definitely like going to concerts. And they
100%.
definitely like going to those things, you know, classical concerts, whether it be that or gigs. I'm sure there's a big push for those kind of people going to those things. So I don't know why so I guess it's like the same in rugby. Like Welsh rugby at the moment is going through like a terrible time because the grassroots has just gone. So basically, it used to be that thing in Welsh culture, in English culture and British culture. In English culture, it's seen as like a upper class thing to play rugby, and it was often pushed in the posher schools. Whereas in Wales, like the poorer schools would push it, and then you get all this kind of grassroots. But they stopped funding all that stuff. So now the Welsh national team is like horrendous because they're just getting the lag of all of that money being taken away.
Yeah.
So now they just can't play rugby.
Shoot.
So they're going through that, like you said, that kind of cycle. At the moment, whatever happened, I guess it would be like 10 years ago to all these kids, they're just not getting the funding or not getting like the push.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird.
And then
And they play like absolute shit.
Of course.
They get
Of course,
embarrassed.
because like, how would they get to play better? Like and the thing is, it snowballs itself until there's a new tipping point. There's a book I read called Tipping Point.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Wicked. And it almost like something has to go all the way through its course to then turn direction.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of then be available at that turning of the direction and have set up what you need to set up. So if it turns direction, when things turn direction, you're the one that's able to be there for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think with music, just like with that, somebody born at that particular right time when the tides just suddenly turn, is going to be the star, the savior of Welsh rugby.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? That's
Yeah,
how you'd find. Oh man, you just made me feel really good about music, because there's going to be a particular real switch in the tide, which means we'd find another Whitney, we'd find another Michael.
Yeah.
And there's something that I always talk about is I really want it to be the next time we find a great, they can die of old age. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, rather than dying 27.
Do you see what I mean? And always dying from the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's some drug-induced, alcohol-induced, like depression-induced. There's something not being taken care of inside them.
Well, they seem to be so barraged as well, those people. They
Yeah.
seem to be so barraged by media and barraged by so many different things from so many different sides. Even their family, like Amy Winehouse was barraged by her family, by the media. It's like, there's only so much that kind of person can take. And they're often quite sensitive souls because of what they do.
Yeah, but I think the sensitive soul, imagine, like, money is supposed to be the lubricant that makes, like, emergencies become just, it's an inconvenience. Turn an emergency into an inconvenience.
What
Your
do you
car
mean by
breaks down.
emergency? Right.
Your car breaks down. If you've only got £100, that emergency is an emergency.
Yeah.
But if you've got $1 million, doesn't matter what the car is, you can just get that fixed.
Yeah.
It's quick. It's just an inconvenience now. You can, that if you've got enough money, you can just replace your car at the side of the road if it breaks down.
Yeah.
If you haven't got enough money, you're effed for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
The rest of the month, maybe.
You're walking.
It's that. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Money's supposed to do that for all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So imagine if you've got somewhere in you,
freedom, right?
Right. Imagine you're a musician with a whole bunch of trauma on the inside of you. You want to get it out in music, but when you get it out in music, people find out how gifted you are. Then you've got the media all over you. But enough money coming in is supposed to be able to say, okay, we'll take care of the trauma in you, keep your outlet. Like, we're not trying to take away the who that you are, but we are trying to take care of the who that you are.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we want to make sure that you can protect yourself from the prying eyes of the world at the same time. Like stuff like Adele saying, I'm just going to take a break because I need it.
Yeah.
The money does that. Money means it shares the option to say, I'm going to take a break. And maybe her own ability to create her own personal choices. Do you know what I mean? But somebody not taken care of at that level of talent means that you get a barrage. Like, you don't need to get a barrage at all. It's not a necessity.
That's true. I guess her and Avicii had that kind of similar thing, right? Where it's like they just get worked.
Yeah.
Like doing that many gigs and just working. They didn't have a break.
Didn't have a break. And the thing is, like, some people didn't need... James Brown didn't want a break. But also, he was coked up half the time.
Yeah, we see those interviews.
Yeah.
Where he, like, shot his wife.
I'm good. No, because you're a genius, and now we're watching you chop your ear off, and we don't need to. Like, we don't
smell good. I look good.
Right?
I make look good. I love that.
It's really. I think he could have had a moment like that without making an ass of himself.
Yeah.
My honest opinion.
With a bit of a break.
With a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Take some, like, take care of yourself. I think, that level of the wealth that you can get from music is meant to be able to give you the resources to actually take care of yourself. And I think part of the system that we have kind of distracts you from the importance of self-care. Because you'll get money coming in and you say, to make more money, we need you to do more work.
Yeah.
But I think you can make it an appropriate increase in self-care along with that increase in income.
Yeah.
But I think...
You get trapped.
Yeah. I think people get trapped, but it's people getting trapped by greed and not always their own greed.
No, I think
Do
that
you know
was
what I
a
mean?
big problem.
Yeah. I think other people's greed means that there's somebody in your ear or somebody writing your
A
contracts.
certain type of pressure, yeah. And the social pressure comes into
Social pressure, economic pressure. And it's funny because even to say it like that sounds a little bit like, what's it called? Abuse. It sounds a little bit like abuse where, like, now I don't know about abuse the way. So I'm just saying it, like, when someone talks to me about economic abuse, that's somebody saying, I will keep paying you if you keep staying in this relationship. And if you come out of this relationship, you will lose everything you have.
Yeah.
You're trapped. That's a trap. That's not where you want to make art from.
No.
There's somebody right now, and I'm not going to say who this is because I don't know if I'm right. But as I look at their career right now, they are trying to get out of their contract.
Right.
So they're just releasing whatever comes to mind until they can get out of their contract. But they have to make it commercially viable enough to release. Otherwise, the label's going to reject it.
Right.
But they're clearly not giving the label their innermost greatest art. They're giving the label their drafts so they can get out of their contract.
Yeah.
But the label's supposed to assist
Almost
you.
purposely bad music. Well, not as good music as they normally
Not as
do.
good. Yeah.
Right.
You know, like running the dirty tap.
Yeah.
You know you're running the dirty tap.
That's that Ed Sheeran quote, right?
What
About
does
like
he say?
writing music. He says
Yeah.
that like whenever you like in a bad house or an old house, if you run shitty water, but if you run it for long enough, eventually it'll become clean.
Comes clean.
So it's about like writing music.
Same thing with writing
It's when you
music.
start thinking like it's terrible when you first start.
Oh my God. If I don't write for a long enough time, I'm a bad writer.
Yeah.
But if I carry on writing again in a short enough time, frequently enough, consistently enough, I become my great writer again.
Do you I was going to ask you this before. Say something like the Basement Jacks. Did you ever visualize or manifest? Did you ever think about anything, a gig like that, before it came to you?
I think I'm meant to be on a big stage. I say I think only because my vision isn't particularly of what the stage looks like. It's what the audience looks like.
Right. Those individual faces.
Those individual faces and my ability to keep on seeing multiple individual faces. A quick side note, I think I grew up with a certain amount of anxiety because we would have to turn off the TV in our house. Me, my brother, my sister would turn the TV off about an hour before my dad got home because he would come home and feel the back of the TV to see if it had been watched. And if it had been watched, you get in trouble. You're not supposed to watch TV when he's not home. One, you don't pay the bills, and two, you're supposed to be studying or working or whatever, or cleaning. And my sister wouldn't get beat because she's the girl. My brother wouldn't get beat because he's not my dad's my dad's son. Like my dad just adopted him into the family when my mum and him got together.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's my dad's son in this family. I'd get the beats.
Right.
And so I would always be on the lookout for where unexpected danger's coming.
Right.
It's probably why the reason why I'm defensive.
Yeah,
Because I never know where emotional danger's coming from.
That fist. You're like,
It's like a trauma response that I've just grown up old enough and big enough to not look like you could traumatize this person. Do you know what I mean? But because of that, I'm now on stage and I'm looking at every face. Now, I've taken the trauma response of looking everywhere and been able to assimilate it into my art. I love seeing as many individual faces as possible. I want you all to have a great time. As many of you as possible. I want to see the smile. And even if there was one gig where he was just standing at the front, kind of just like, he looked like he was bored. He looked like he was bored, just leaning on the railing and looking down. People are on stage singing their heart out. He's looking down. And I thought to myself, there's a key there. Somebody hasn't opened the lock for that person.
Right.
And then Vula came on stage and his whole life, not just his body, not his mind, not his eyes, his life, his history lit up. He looked up, his chest was up, his heart faced her.
Wow.
And he was just there dancing. There was one point and he was trying to keep it together still. And then his hand went up in the air, man, and he was gone, man. He was gone. He was
I love
in.
that, trying to resist.
Yeah. He had such a... But I love creating those moments. And I visualize... It's weird. I don't visualize it. It just comes to me so frequently. Yeah, I feel it so much. And it's almost like I can wake up from a dream where I'm singing a song to that feeling of an audience. And then all my job is to go write that song that I was singing in my dream because clearly the audience was enjoying it in my dream. Yeah. So that's what the visualization looks like, is I can keep on going back to that.
Is it an actual dream or you...
I have actual dreams. And it's almost like the recurring dream is that looking out and my peripherals are full of people. So I don't really notice what's going on the stage. I know that whatever's going on the stage has made this many people respond at the same time. Right. So I noticed this many people. And I used to see it over my own shoulder. I used to look out over my own shoulder and see it.
Now it's
coming through my own eyes.
Like
and
HD.
Yeah.
I'm reading this book at the moment by a guy called Don McPherson. And it talks about that, like imagining, if you like are feeling a bit shitty about something or you're feeling a bit anxious before you do something, just meditate and like sit there for 15 minutes and you watch. Because to say if you like were going to a gig and you knew what the room looked like, you could kind of, or you knew what Coachella stage looked like, you could kind of visualize yourself being there. So he says do it first just from like that, so from your eyes, but imagine it imagining it going better than ever expected, and you being like just really cool with everything, really relaxed, and you just being like a superstar. And she also says, imagine then doing it from like a drone or from like something just watching you. And I started doing it on some gigs, and it makes
a difference.
So much difference.
Because
even like social things, like saying, imagine yourself just going to somewhere and being really cool and like warm and nice.
Yeah.
Like those things, some days, like you were saying before, some days you don't feel like that.
Yep.
So I do that if I'm feeling a bit like, I'm not really feeling this. I'll just sit there for 10 minutes, just imagine what would cool Max look like. What would he be like if he's just like, just the kind of person I want to be?
This is what Gemma's turning me into, bro. Like,
What do you mean?
Nah, for real. When I got with Gemma Wilder, the first things that she said to me is, stop complaining about how everybody wants you to lead stuff. They want you to lead stuff because you're clearly a leader. Now it's just up to you whether or not you walk in your own shoes or not. But it's a bit like you complaining that people treat you like you're black. Now, you can either act like you are a black guy, African skin, you can act like you have African skin, or you can act like you don't have African skin, but you have African skin, like no matter which way you see it. And there are things that come from the fact that you have a history of Africa in you. Like there are certain foods I eat, there's certain music I listen to, there's certain ways I think about culture and economics and politics and family and community and art and literature and well-being and emotionality and spirituality. There are ways that I think of the world because I have an African history and it shows up on me. And I can act like that's not the case, or I can act like it is the case.
Right. And just
but you can see that it is the case on me. You can see it on me. So it's up to me whether or not I be it. And I really like that. Like that's Gemma's got a thing of like just choose who it is that you are in the world, because people can already see on you who you are.
Right.
That's what they're responding to.
Yeah.
And you can prove to them that you're not if you want. Hey, you can prove that you're not a leader and that you're a follower and that you haven't got self-power or self-responsibility. And after a while, they'll believe you. And they'll take that on and they'll stop acting like you're supposed to lead. But the reason why they're acting like you are supposed to lead is because you already are the leader.
Right.
And you are upset with it because you haven't sat in the role of it. And it was almost like a big pill to swallow. And as soon as you swallow it, your whole body is just, this is great.
Yeah.
What a great life. Someone's saying, why don't you go out in the sun? You'll get warm. And you're like, no, I'm cold. Like, do you want to be warm? Yes, but I'm cold. All right, go outside. No, it's far. Like, I'm too cold to move. And
as soon as you go
you're outside, like, this. Yeah.
That's why.
That's what she's been doing with me.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, and so the visualization, a lot of how I visualize comes from that. So when you say that, it really resonated with me. I was like, what would Jay do in my own role of, not in someone else, but when I show up like that, what am I usually like? And again, the first time that I've really recently found a challenge to that is fatherhood. Because it's like, now I have to think ahead. What does Jay, who hasn't built the muscles now, build the muscle like when he's under pressure? And still,
what's the hardest thing you found then? What's the drowning when you said that initially? What made you feel that most?
Logistics. The first thing was logistics. I felt like I had to know how to do things that I had never learnt how to do.
And their consequences are quite high.
Yeah. There were days that I forgot to feed my daughter.
Yeah.
And it would be like, but you can't forget to feed your daughter.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but I was at the time trying to get my rent paid.
Yeah.
And I was failing at that. And I was using all of my time. I was on the phone today, I was talking to this, trying to figure out trying to get this person to pay that invoice and trying to get that extra work to come in.
Yeah.
So my daughter didn't get paid. And it would be like, doesn't matter, your daughter has to get paid. And I hadn't learnt how to make sure that both gets done. And both can get done. I just I hadn't built the muscle of, you need someone else to make those calls while you cook. Or, do you know what I mean? You need to ask for help. I'd never needed help before. Like, I'm all right. I've been all right for my whole life. I'm good. But now I need support. And I've never really known.
Is that kind of ego thing as well, being able to say, like, I need help?
Oh, please, Lord.
Please help.
This ego is trying to pull me back, man, every day. Every day. Can you leave me? Nah, I'll just hide somewhere else if you find me.
Yeah.
Just hide somewhere else. But I'll be there. Man. The logistics was a big one.
Right.
Feeling like I am taking on criticism. There's another ego thing. Taking on criticism felt like the hardest thing.
As a dad, or
as a dad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so hard. There's so many things to do wrong. and do wrong
I
and
would
do
do
right.
so much wrong, and I would love to get just compassion and softness and forgiveness. But what I'd get was the facts. You did that wrong. You have to do it right. We've got no space for anything else. And we've also got no time for you to self-indulge in feeling bad for getting it wrong, because you've got to get it right and move on to get the rest of our life working.
I think men struggle with that. I definitely think men will struggle with that more.
Yeah.
I think of getting it wrong is seen as like a failure, right?
Yeah.
Like a real,
Man.
like, down to your core failure. It's like, I don't know.
I'm not over it, man. I'm not over it now.
Yeah.
I'm still building on that. I'm still figuring that out.
me
Yesterday
too.
we had a thing. Yeah, I don't know where to build it. Listen, I am so good on stage. I'm so good on stage. Like, I know how to turn a bad gig good. I know how to use my voice to the maximum. Even when I've sung 10 out of 10 gigs when I've had a chest infection. But fatherhood changes so much that I haven't had enough frequent use of the same parts of the muscle to know what I'm doing the next time it comes up.
Yeah. And it might be different. You might be the same thing might not work next time.
Yeah.
And they'll just be like, nah. And look at you.
Oh, Lord.
Plus you're knackered, you're tired.
Right.
And everything is like heightened.
Yeah.
They know how to get you as well.
They know it. And then also my partner, she is as forgiving as she's meant to be, but no more than that.
Right.
No, she is like, I'm not indulging where you indulge.
Yeah, same as my wife.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a blessing because she's very truthfully and honestly herself, and she's very powerfully where she is.
Yeah, strong woman.
Yeah, which means I know that she's telling the truth when she's like, that's how much you need.
Yeah.
And I know it's the truth. And I'm wanting more, which means I know that I'm where the inauthenticity is.
Right.
I'm like, but I don't have the more. I don't have the more, so I'm hoping you have the more. And she's like, even if I do have the more, I'm not going to put the more there because you need to build it.
Right.
Shit! Like, and sometimes, bro, and this is what I mean about, like, I know that my daughter and me have a relationship where I'm clearly made to be a dad. And a girl dad first, especially. I'm made for it. I'm amazing. I'm a better dad than I am a singer.
Right.
But the logistics, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
No one does.
Money?
Again, what we said before, no one does.
No one does.
No.
I found out this time last year that I am financially stable for a single guy. Single, no kids, financially stable.
Right.
Anything beyond that?
No.
Crumbling to shit. Crumbling to shit.
Right.
Had to sit down with my boys a couple of months ago and be like, guys, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what the next... In fact, that was about 2 days after that. At Christmas, we sat down, it was just before Christmas, we sat down, have like a monthly get-together where we sit down and we just talk, we just express together.
Right.
It was really nice. And I was like, guys, I'm the most lost I've ever been.
Yeah.
And they were like just stay believing in you. And I was like...
How did you go then? 6 months? 5, 6 months?
She was about 6 months old then, yeah. And they were like, just you stay the course, whatever you got to do, pray, meditate, work out, drink your water, do your things. And cool. 2 days later is when I got the call for Basement Jacks.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, so you're telling me that I feel like I'm drowning. I've got to be at that last bubble of oxygen in my lungs.
Yeah.
And then the universe will be like, oh no, you're meant to stay here.
That's why a lot of people give up.
Yeah.
Because they get to that point and they go, that's not going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they stop.
You've got to go just beyond it and it just happens.
Yeah. So many stories like that.
Oh,
so many
Lord.
stories.
Isn't that mad though?
Yeah. It's like I'm just testing you.
Yeah.
Just testing you. I feel at the moment I'm at a point where financially I feel really good, but I just want to push more of the creative stuff and push some more gigs, like the stuff gigs we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Like more the free ones. I think I've all been in like dad money mode for a long time.
Right.
And I think I need to it almost feels like that's been going a bit too far ahead, and I want to kind of get back to
into creative.
that kind of stuff, creative gigs.
It's a must.
More artist kind of gigs as well. Like that's what I'd kind of definitely dream about. Royal Albert Hall is one for me where I'm like, I see the Royal Albert Hall and I see even the artists I'm playing with. I probably won't mention who it is, but it might happen. But I look around and I see him calling my name, and then I play a little fucking solo.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's like I can see or I can hear the sounds.
And the thing is, Albert Hall, I've done Albert Hall.
Yeah, I really want to do it.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
I've listened to the Albert Hall Sing My Song Back.
Yeah.
It is one of the most free, and again, another free moment. I've seen a video of it. I can see my free moment happen.
Yeah.
Coachella, me lying on the floor singing, like screaming at the ceiling.
Yeah.
That one, I took a second in the middle of a thing, and I burst out a big note. I spread my arms and my legs as wide as I could, and I sang like this.
Yeah.
Microphone stand there, microphone here. I could see my body. I was just trying to stretch, because you know that stretch of like, oh, I'm in the space I'm meant to be in. You stretch like your body can get the release. But a sax there, that sound would bounce around in there, man.
Yeah. It's a ridiculous venue.
Whoa.
Yeah. You just sit at home and do that.
Whoa. To not be mad is, and don't let me interfere with your vision of stuff.
Go on.
But I did a meditation a while ago where it says, all right, so meditate from here and then stand here and meditate from here and just see yourself, notice yourself, but take yourself further away. And I got so far back that I was meditating from outside Earth. And I've only done it once. And I got so far away that my mum passed 5 years ago. And she used to meditate. And me and my sister used to think she was a hippie.
Right.
But then I was meditating and I was like, no, my mum had the answers.
Yeah.
I went so far
Changes
away.
everything.
I got so displaced that I felt myself floating. And I was like, it's fantastic. And I wasn't really thinking much. And then I felt her right over my shoulder and she's like, oh, you're here now.
Wow.
And we started giggling together. And the feeling of my body giggling brought me back into my physical body because I was actually giggling.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that dragged me all the way back. And that pulled me out of the meditation.
Right.
But it was a split-second moment. I was like, that there, I was able to see what my life looks like just outside the room I was in. And I thought, what would it look like if you could take yourself just outside the Royal Albert Hall to choose what time of the year it is?
Yeah.
Which means you could probably also choose what year it is.
Well, imagine if the roof was taken off.
Take the roof off and choose the date. It's like, oh, what is it? Because inside the Royal Albert Hall, you don't know what the day is.
No.
Which means you can make this vision 10 years into the future.
Yeah.
But if you take it out and you put a Boris bike there, that's got to be now.
Yeah.
It's got to be like in the next couple of years because Boris bikes are going out of business.
Yeah.
Someone else is going to take over.
There's lime ones, right?
There's going to be lime
big ones.
So you've got to do, that means you've got to do it soon. And if you make it dark, but it's 6 p.m., shoot, that means it's winter.
Yeah.
Which means you might have to do it this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just based on your own vision, and you just have it. It's like I'm trying to do the little exercises there, where like I see a big audience. When am I seeing them though?
Yeah. Make it more specific.
Yeah.
Honing in on it. I like that.
Just for the creative exploration of it, rather than for because I used to visualize and put pressure on and vision. I make £1 million by the 1st of January 2024, and it would be performative.
Doesn't feel it. You don't really feel
Not feeling it.
That, no.
Yeah, I wasn't excited by it. I'd feel pressure. I'd be like, how am I gonna?
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm just for the art of the same as like you write a line in a song, you'd be like, where should I go next?
Yeah.
The where should I go next is the good feeling, because you're not saying where should I go next because I don't know what to do. It's where should I go next because I've opened up my mind to the availability of I could go anywhere next.
Yeah. True.
Up to me, what I create. And like opening that kind of like take the ceiling, take the roof off Royal Albert Hall and look at when are we? This vision that I've got in my head, I'm about to play.
Yeah.
And I look up and I've taken the roof off. When is it? When in the year is this?
Yeah.
Like what year is it? What month is it? Have I parked outside?
Yeah.
If I've driven myself, do you know what I mean? Is there a ticket inspector that's just about to and stops and goes, no, that's nice. And you're like, oh, my music brought me luck today. Like, what does the rest of the vision? So don't let me interfere
No, I like
with
that.
it. But
That sounds cool.
I've been like vibing with just playing with.
Yeah.
Because some of those things, I think some of those things they turn into reality. Like you don't know when something's going to turn into reality.
It just makes you feel good.
It makes you
like,
feel
even
great.
if just nothing happens, it makes you feel fucking good.
Yeah.
Just doing it and just being like, oh, that's really exciting. Or almost like refreshes your view of what you're doing.
Yes.
And what you're working towards.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit like, shit like this, and you just that refreshes it.
I do that with being in crowds that I'm like just walking through. Like if I'm at, I don't know, if I'm at a venue and I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of standing, or I might be at a bar, or I might sitting down in a seat, or I'm at dinner in a restaurant or something. I look around to find out who I'm going to make look at me.
Right.
So I'll just push the thought into their head. Look at me for no reason. Just look at me. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll move on to someone else. I'll be like, oh, their energy, they were focused. I'm not supposed to distract them.
Yeah.
So I'll find someone else. Be like, just look at me for no reason. If I'm like on a bus and someone's on their phone, be like, put your phone to your side and just look at me.
All right.
And I see if they will just look in my face. After that, I get too shy and I'll look away. But like, but yeah, but it's just like, just to see if I
How
can
many
push
times
reality.
happened, you reckon?
More frequently than not.
Really?
Yeah.
I definitely believe in that stuff, though.
The energy's loud. Yeah.
Definitely.
The energy's loud.
Well, that's like when you're thinking about something and then someone just text you.
Yes.
A minute later, like, what the fuck?
It happened, bro. And this is what I mean. Like, we don't know enough to know. Okay. We're supposed to be talking more about music, but this is just
talk about whatever.
Quantum experience of life. Okay. Your brain is alone in the dark. By the time your brain interprets what your eyes have sent it, your brain is experiencing the vision that your eyes sent it a split second ago. So what your brain thinks of as vision is the past. There is no proof that your brain has to say that thing that your eyes sent you is still there. Like, the universe could have just stopped a split second after your eyes sent that message to your brain.
Yeah.
So there's no proof that thing that your brain says is there is there. You just have to look again and be like, oh, that thing was still there a second. Like, I saw it there 3 seconds ago, and I looked again and it was still there 2 seconds ago, and I looked again and it was still there 1 second ago.
Yeah.
But there is nothing that says that it's still there right now. You just keep looking again in the next moment to see what was there a second ago, which means your senses are only giving you the past.
Right.
The sense of touch, when I touched this table, I touched it then, but it took a split second to send that message to my brain, and then my brain got it, which means at the time I touched it and the time my brain got it are different times.
Yeah.
So I think that this happened now, but it didn't. It happened then.
Yeah.
The only thing that happens now is the thing I'm imagining happening, which means you can imagine anything.
Yeah.
If I say pink elephant, you can put a pink elephant into your brain. There's no proof that there's a difference between table and pink elephant, except for the fact that you've never seen a real pink elephant before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've seen this table before, which means it's always the past that is giving you proof of now. But there is no real proof of now.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I heard of, which is time is just the space, the dimension for belief, for faith, for imagination. So whatever you think can happen, it is only a matter of time before you find out if it can happen or not. For example, I am very sure that if you give enough time to how humans can explore something, we can create a pink elephant.
Yeah.
But everything was like that. They didn't believe airplanes could fly. They didn't believe we could go to space. They didn't believe a saxophone didn't exist at one point. And
Not even that long. It hasn't even been that long. It was like the end of, it was like 1890.
What?
Really, yeah.
Saxophones are 150 years old.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Less.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Not things didn't exist and then somebody thought of it and then they made it.
That's where you get no like classical music, like with saxophones, really.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like clarinet. Yeah. It's a very new instrument.
Look at that.
Relatively. Yeah.
Oh, so you're the bastard of your industry.
Yeah. Basically.
You're the people that were watching me like, oh, in my day.
Yeah. Well,
But
violins and clarinets. It's like,
Whoa.
and obviously voice. It's like
Yeah. That's
very
the long
old.
time.
Yeah.
But I think because of that, I always think of the fact that you can make anything happen. Like anything. Like, I've got no proof that you're here. All I have is that my mind imagines that you are still here, which is why my mind tells me, talk to the person that was there a second ago.
Yeah.
You might have gone.
It's that power stuff you were talking about before. Like the mind has all the power.
It has all the power.
Yeah.
And which is why me being defensive doesn't make any sense, because I would have created being defensive from when I was a kid. And now I've got no need for it. Because, like, let's say, for example, I had a conversation with my partner yesterday. I was just being defensive. But she wasn't being the thing I need to be defensive against. I would think of myself as needing to be defensive against, like, my dad.
Right.
My dad's a nice guy. He just didn't know what he was really doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing now.
Maybe it happened to him as well.
And maybe it happened to him.
Yeah.
And I've talked to him about his past. It did happen to him.
Yeah.
So then he's just given what he knows.
Yeah.
But my girl's got nothing to do with that at all. But I'm seeing the remnants of what I used to think about
the
show up,
patterns.
the pattern.
Yeah.
But it's not. But it's the same. The pattern is that this table's here, so I'm expecting it to still be here. So all of reality, the idea that something was there and so it should now be there, is what we're always interacting with, which means we have an opportunity to create something brand new now.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
And I think because we're musicians, that idea makes the most sense to us.
And it's exciting.
It's
You
exciting.
can just reinvent yourself whenever you want.
Totally, anytime.
Just got to do it consistently.
It's the consistency that's how we get to use time. I know that I can build my body into something if I take enough time and be consistent in it.
Yeah.
But if tomorrow I stop believing that, I'll have 10 packets of crisps and I'll regress the idea. So it's just what I do with the amount of time. Because I can't have 10 packets of crisps in 1 second. It's got to take a certain amount of time to mess up my routine. It might take 1 day, it might take 1 hour. But to get my chest how I want it to be and my abs how I want it to be, it might take 3 months.
Yeah.
So you're just using time to create the physical past of my imagined idea. It's the same thing with the song. The song is already there. It's made. And it just takes time to write down lyrics as they come to you. It takes time to write down melodies and record. It takes time to make it into a physical sonic or vinyl, whatever, a product. But it happens in your head at the time. Like the actual music is in your mind at the time. Do you know what I mean? Or the moment of the music.
Yeah.
And you're putting together more moments of the music, but it is immediate in your head and it's nowhere else. Like you get to experience the music in real time. That's like, I feel like music is one of the quantum forces of the world.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
You get to hear it in your head. You don't need a sound wave.
And often if you don't hear it in your head first, or don't follow that sound, if it comes out and it's not really like the thing you wanted to create.
Have you read Big Magic?
I don't think so, no.
Big Magic. I wish my Gemma knows authors. If you say like when I said tipping point, you said, "Oh, Malcolm Gladwell."
Yeah.
She's like that with thousands of books. I don't know why she's like that because she's
great.
terrible with geography. But she's amazing. Like, if I say, "Oh, when you go east of Bexley Heath," she's like, "What are you talking about?" Google Maps, Waze. But with authors, she just knows.
She's got that.
But Big Magic, I wish I could remember who it was by, but Big Magic basically says ideas, like let's say, for example, a song has its own energy, just like a human.
Wow.
And it will come to you and say, are you going to create me or what?
It's like the muse, right? The muse of the song, yeah.
And if you don't, it doesn't die. It doesn't like evaporate into nothing in your head.
Right.
It just goes elsewhere, which is
Yeah.
why you'd have like somebody would like write a song and be like, I thought of a song just like that.
Yeah.
It's just when it got to them, it used their history, it used their knowledge, it used their language and their musical makeup, their musical background to create itself. So it won't look like exactly how you would have made it because how you'd have made it is based on you.
Yeah.
How they would have made it is
Your
based on,
history. What you've listened to.
right?
Yeah.
But the actual song is its own entity.
Yeah, I'll check. Big Magic.
Big Magic.
We'll find out who it's by.
I remember, innit? I remember sitting on my balcony in my old house, my old flat, and reading it as a physical book and being like, this is blowing my mind. Like it was such a new idea to me. I had never thought of it like that. I don't own the song.
Right.
I don't own it.
No. That also makes it, when criticism comes, that also makes it easier because it's like, that's not really me.
So much easier.
It's just like, oh, this is what was given.
Yeah. And if you criticize it, that just means you would be the person to criticize it.
Yeah.
Like somebody else might love it. I used to think how my song was mixed and mastered was why it would be good or bad.
Me too. I was literally thinking about this morning.
Really?
I went to a session at Metropolis Studios and I was like, right, finally, my song's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And then they did it and I was like, is that it?
Is it?
I was expecting them just to like completely change everything.
Oh,
it took them like
my
10
days.
minutes. Cost me loads of money. And then I was just like, oh, fuck.
Yep. Yep. See that? And it's because... And
I still have to remind myself that a little bit. It's not about that.
yeah.
Even now.
The thing that gets me to remember is the song called BTSTU, I think it is.
Right.
J. Paul. It came out like 15 years ago.
Okay.
And it starts with this sample that Beyonce used in Who Run the World,
Right.
Girls. It's
Yeah.
It's actually a sample from his song. And it's him going, don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me.
Right.
When you shift my ass out to sea. And
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful song. The mixing is so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad, and you get to about halfway through the song, and you need to start it from scratch and listen to it again.
Right.
Because it is so Moorish, you haven't got the patience to listen to the whole thing.
And even if it was polished, you'll probably not
You'd lose
enjoy
something.
it as much.
Yeah, you'd lose something. Because when the kick comes in, it hits you in a way you weren't expecting.
Right.
Based on what you were hearing already, you would expect the kick to be there. And instead, it's here.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, everything is in the place that it just chooses to be at its moment.
Right.
And, like, it's not always that the aim is to mix it like the last thing you heard and to make it like the last thing that was. They used to say, like, oh, mix your song and play it against other songs that are out so you can hear how it would stand up against, or alongside the rest of the thing.
They still say that. They still say that a lot.
It makes a lot of sense, but that is the formula. That's not the art.
Right.
And you've got to be able to have, I guess in some ways you've got to be able to have enough of both, but it just depends on what you're doing it for. Because some music, you're doing it so you can hear what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And
what would you be proud of as well?
Would you want
to get like grandkids to listen to it?
It's that.
That's cool.
Whoa, yeah, my granddad was on his own vibe.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm looking for. And then there are some songs that I'm like, let me give an audience exactly what they want to hear at the exact time. They want to play, they want to play a Chris Brown tune, and then they want to play a JMO tune and a Jacob Banks, and they want that. They don't want to have to turn up and down their volumes to do so. And I totally understand that. Like, you don't even want to hear the whole song. You just want to play the first minute and a half, catch a vibe, press skip, and carry on the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And if I make my song where my vocal is so loud, but the instrumental is so quiet because I really want you to hear the choir in it, you're going to have a hard time with my song in your playlist. I get that part. And then there's the songs that I'm like, I only want you to hear this one song in isolation and then go about your business after that. Changed. Like, that's the thing I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I guess the artist's job is to choose why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not the listener's job to choose why the artist is doing it.
Well, yeah, try not to think too much about them as well.
Exactly.
I think if you think too much about them and they'll think about those specific things, then you'll change what you're creating.
Yeah.
I used to care about that definitely a lot more than I do now. Think about like how would even like specific people.
Oh wow.
Like how would they think about this song? And
That's
then you think like they won't care. Like, they're not really going to think about it that much.
They're not going to think about it.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the longest they'll think about it is the length of your song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and especially now, people have got plenty of music to listen to.
Endless.
After they stop listening to your song, they stop thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? My sister will listen to Busta Rhymes and then Westlife. Do you see what I mean? I'm like, your attention span for what I'm trying to give you as art, you're not going to sit and think about the art afterwards for that long.
It's just consumption.
It's just consumption. Unless I'm actually aiming to build a community who wants to just sit. I used to do listening sessions where we just go to a friend's house who has good speakers and we just sit there and we just listen to a song together.
Yeah.
One person made a tune. We just sit and listen and enjoy it. We'd be able to go back and be like, I want you to just hear how the kick comes in. Everyone would be like, go and show me how the kick comes in.
Yeah.
There's going to be sessions like that I put together that we just get together and sit together, and I just want to show you the intricacies of my song. Mm-hmm. I've got songs where I get so intricate about something in particular, and I've done the harmonies, it repeats, and then last time it repeats, I've just changed one line of the harmony. I want to hear that because I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I have a group of friends that I can do that with.
Nice.
And
we should play some music.
Oh, let's play some music, man.
Can I play you one song that I've created?
Yeah, 100%. Yes, please.
All right.
Oh, shit, yes.
I'll keep this running.
Don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Since you shit my ass out to sea. There's no such thing as too loud for me.
This is Kieran Dougal actually on this.
No way.
And,
Sick.
Mike Brown.
Sick.
And Samson.
Yeah,
it's a good little line.
Oh, you really got them together. Okay.
Come on.
Ah!
Turn up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. So there's something that I love, right? No, sit down for a minute, just a minute, because I want you to play it from the beginning again.
Yeah.
In a sec. So there's a thing that I love this. It's like sex to me, right?
Right.
Where you just do the same thing until you get real pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
And then you do that. You do that.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the same thing again.
Like hip hop, so much of hip hop is like that.
Yes.
Where it just stays on the same thing.
You're doing that on this. That.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, you're doing that. And then you go stroke. You're like, wait a minute. It's that you're doing in the track. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, I like the messing slightly with something.
Oh.
Like minimalist almost.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And sorry, so that choice, is that your written choice to do that?
Yeah, it's all my productions.
Flipping hell. Okay, cool.
Well, the little...
I love it. It lights me up because I know that's the sex of it to me. Like there's a groove that I've chosen a groove. It doesn't have to be in the kick or the snare. It doesn't have to be in the drums. It can be in an instrument that just holds one position until it chooses to. And that's the thing. When that moves, it moves. The whole thing moves. It moves everything.
Yeah.
And then everyone's playing to that. Like it's so gorgeous to hear. Yeah.
It's such like a silly like little sound.
What was it?
In there. I think it's just a synth.
Really?
I just messed with it to the point where it just sounded like weird.
I love that, man.
Because I'm obsessed with like the J Dilla records where it starts like almost like it sounds like it being recorded in another room.
Yep.
Or it sounds like the quality is really bad.
Yeah.
And then they just come in with like...
And then it
like,
cleans
whoa!
immediately. Yes,
you think your perception gets like taken out.
I
You're
love
just like,
that.
oh, I thought we were in this place. And it's like, nah, we're here.
That's the thing that I like about when somebody like you've got like they'll. So I do it. Okay, no, you got to play the rest of it because this I'm going to show you that in the song I show you in Breakout.
Nice.
Because I do this with it, and it's just monotonous almost.
Yeah.
And then I say what the chord progression of the thing is.
Nice.
So the monotony makes different sense.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing there. Okay. I love that you've done that in this, man.
Nice.
Who's on the horns of this?
It's my horn section, so Josh.
Sick.
And then Joel.
Oh, bro, man. Woo! This. See what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just a synth in Ableton. From what I remember.
Such a good idea, man. Hey! Nice.
Yeah, Josh. Amazing. He's only like 23.
Really?
Yeah.
He's gorgeous, and you can
Yeah,
really
man.
feel his. That's smooth as well. Oh. Nice.
Yeah, do you know Mike Brown?
Yeah.
Incredible, man. He's so good.
I think he was in the States, you know.
Yeah.
I think he was in the States just when I was there. I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
Beast, man.
Yeah, come on.
hey,
Got the rhythm and there's no way for me to escape. Yeah, I'm addicted addicted to the drumming, in love with the bass. The adrenaline is pumping, I never relax. Loving how they dropping funky melodies off in the sax. Let me hear the horns blow. It's really something. Caught a flight from the States and landed in London.
Hey.
To the club, but you gotta turn it up, cause the music is a drug. I forever feel the rush. We here to mix it up with lyrical literature. If you feeling down, got my team here to pick you up to another level. If you ready, buckle up. Gonna take you on a ride, doing what you never done. Get my rapping on. The passion is strong. I got style and flavor. I got so much charm. Better bring the alarm, cause we dropping the bomb. No debating, we the greatest. I'ma let it be known. Let's go.
Sick.
Like that. Y'all heard him.
Who is it?
Just find him on Fiverr.
Serious?
Guy from the States, yeah.
Wicked.
It's so good, man.
Like this. So funky.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Isn't it?
Bass.
Oh. Do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of a game, a computer game that I used to play. That was like, it's weird because I'm mixing two things together, but I'll still say it. But it reminds me of a computer game I used to play, and it was like a 1940s, maybe 30s Inspector kind of thing.
Oh, yeah?
And
That's really ringing a bell when you say that.
yeah.
Like Mega Drive or something.
Yeah, and you'd have to solve a mystery of some sort. And it would be like a long enough story. And I just remember the intro scene of the whole, you know how they had like their montage at the beginning. And part of the beginning of it was you see the car drive over your perspective and land. And so it must have been San Francisco because you could see the roads going up and down every suit landing. I remember that, but mixed with the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft movie.
Yeah.
It's got both of those two going on.
Yeah, that rings a bell now. Definitely that video game.
Like,
Played at my mate's house.
yeah, because you can feel that on the radio station. You can feel it on the radio. Like,
I like obsessed like the vinyl kind of sounds as well. I love all that kind of like
it's
almost like a retro thing.
Yeah. And I'm really enjoying when someone can use both retro and new. Like you can because there's a beautiful partnership there. And especially when it's not madly contrived. Even when it's contrived, it sounds nice, to be fair. But like it's not trying hard. That song doesn't sound like it's trying hard.
Right.
It's like, I know that you want to dance, so I'll give you what you want. Like, cool. And even a rapper, it feels like he just like, I don't need to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
I can tell this song wants you to have me in the pocket, and every so often I give you a little bit extra flair, but I'll stay in the pocket as well. everything just feels like, do you know what I mean? Like, and so there's a on the I Am album for Earth, Wind and Fire, there's an interlude between two songs. I can't remember what the You and I, just before the song You and I, there's that small interlude of that little piece of music sounds like some of the best written. It's a beautifully written section.
Right.
That song sounds like, you had a beautifully written section when you had a gig and you were like, let's segue these two songs. And then you saw everyone go wild and you were like, oh no, they thought it was a whole song. We've got to write a song then. Yeah. That's what that sounds like. You're like, because it feels like it feels really short, that this song.
It's relatively, it's like 3 minutes.
Really?
Which I guess is a relatively short bit.
It's a short piece of music.
Yeah.
It feels short because you get into the enjoyment.
Yeah.
You go to the next piece of the enjoyment, the rapper comes in, you got a bit of a solo there, you go in, and then you go to the bass and you're out. And you're like, oh, all right, yeah, replay.
I quite like that though, leaving people wanting more.
Same.
Kind of just being like,
yeah. It's so good, man. How long did it take to make?
Took a while, that one, because I think I just had the idea and then I had a few rappers send some stuff and I just wasn't feeling it. So I think when you've got like a very specific sound in your head, but you also don't want to like, I'm getting better at my older age, but being just like, nah, it's not right. Do you know what I mean? Because people will always take that personally. Yeah. So I think I've definitely got to the point now where I can just say, nah, that's not the kind of sound I want. So I think the original loop came from Samson's Bandcamp. So he's got a Bandcamp thing where you can buy loops for like a $5 a loop. Sick. So I just go on there, and it's got, as well as a loop, you get all the individual stems. So you get like kick, all different parts. He'll often do like a
For £5.
for like £5 for. It's like
Whoa.
an absolute resource, and it's his production
Didn't think of doing it on Bandcamp.
on those sounds is amazing.
Really?
So yeah, I started a few tracks just from like his loops and stuff.
Wicked.
But yeah, and then I got that kind of bass line. That was actually the bass line originally, that main melody from Kieran. He wrote that.
Right.
And they came up with that, and I was like, that sounds so good. Like, we should make that the actual like theme of the song.
That's amazing. Because and this is what I mean. You can journey so well if you, like, because it's almost like you do this and you've got the weight of the song. And like wherever you want to go, you can go there. And here's your routing.
Yeah.
Do that. I really like it, man.
I like that about hip hop though. That's what I made. That was my first love.
Really?
My parents bought
You're
me.
a hip hop head.
My parents bought me hip hop albums. Like Fugees was one of the first albums I had.
Whoa!
With like Lauryn Hill, and that has got so many. My parents are really into good music. It's one thing I said about my parents.
Yeah.
Like they played a lot of good music when I was a kid. It was that, and so I had that Marshall Mathers EP, and then I had like Fatboy Slim. I think was one of the first. Those are the 3 albums that I had.
Why? It's so interesting. I'm always so interested in how somebody became how they are. Where did you find hip hop?
My parents kind of played it for me.
Where do you think they found hip hop then?
They just really like Lauryn Hill. They really like that kind of that sound of a voice.
Right.
But then if you think about it, like a lot of the albums are incredibly inappropriate for like a
100%.
10-year-old to have.
Yeah.
But they had so many bits of it where it was just like this guy would go into a Chinese restaurant and they'd talk.
Yeah.
And they'd just chat shit to each other for like ages. And that was a track.
Wicked.
And I love that about like music.
That album, I remember there was at the end of one track, what song is it? Where it's like someone goes, yo, he's like, what you want, girl?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, hey, what you want, girl? Like, you're
Yeah.
just hearing life happen.
Yeah.
And you can then figure out how you relate yourself in that thing.
The 2001's
like
like that though. Dr. Dre, like there's so many tracks on that where you're just just people at a bar
Yeah.
talking about meeting people.
I love Busta Rhymes his Genesis album has a lot of interlude where it's just you can hear it's just different. And the thing is, he's weird, so he's got a whole bunch of skits that he just made up weird stuff.
Right.
There's one where he becomes a tarot card reader, and he reads these 2 girls who call in, and he reads their tarot, their future, whatever it is, finds out some freaky stuff about one of them, about the other one, and they end up having an argument on the line. And you're like, what made you even want to write this as an idea?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, because you were probably just living your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that freedom stuff we were talking about before. If he
Yeah.
hadn't had that freedom, he wouldn't have written those things.
Man, I miss the days where, that's interesting. To miss them is a bit ridiculous because you can put out any music you want. So I'll change that. But I really enjoyed the days where you like a skit.
Right.
I love the idea that somebody would just be like, there's an old school Wu-Tang, what is it? Wu-Tang Gambinos. And I don't know why my brother introduced me to hip hop. So I never really understood what hip hop is.
Right.
But I used to just enjoy that it felt like somebody chose to, rather than play drums, they use their mouth. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you wanted to have rhythm, but you're not a drummer. So you've done this. And there was like, for about a minute at the beginning of the song, it sounds like some guys at one of their house watching an old gangster movie on the TV.
Right.
And they are hanging out in their house while watching it. So you can hear the TV playing, and the TV is playing a scene where it's like, how much is it going to be to take out this guy? It's going to cost 17 million.
Yeah.
Okay, when you're going to send the money? Da, 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 da. And over that, at the same time as hearing that, you hear one guy say, hey, get your feet off my mama's coffee table, man. It's my mama's coffee. Get your Timbs off my mama's coffee table. And that's them just chilling out of the house while watching this thing.
Yeah.
And then the song starts. And it's got nothing to do with the interlude at all.
Yeah.
But I used to remember that.
Yeah.
I used to know when the song starts.
Yeah.
And you could suddenly hear Method Man's, now his voice comes in and he's got all this reverb on his voice. The song's about to start. Then the beat kicks in.
Yeah.
And every single, will come to get you now. They want none. They'll be the first to set off. Shit last to run. And I used to love that song because because of all that before it.
Yeah,
right?
without the intro, you'd be a bit like, just a normal tune. Makes it
yeah.
memorable, man, because it's
Makes
weird.
it so memorable, man. I heard something yesterday. It's at the beginning of, is it got to give it up? Got to give it? The Marvin Gaye
Marvin
tune.
Gaye tune, you know that.
And it's just
Got some people in trouble,
ambience.
right?
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Change subjects. How about you?
Can we play your tune?
Yeah.
Can I play just the
100%.
full one?
Did I send you the whole of Breakout?
Yeah, I think so. I've got one here, which is just PW Mix 3.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you this quickly.
Oh.
Pete Watson mixed it.
I know that name.
Keys player, really cool guy.
I know that name.
When you meet him, you'll meet him.
Yeah.
You both give this energy of I take care of the environment.
Nice.
He mixed it, and then he's like, "Well, I'm not a mastering engineer. Let's send it to a mastering engineer."
Right.
But because he's a live guy, he mixed it with the almost the wildness of how I made it inside the mix.
And you like that?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
The mastering engineer then came and controlled all that.
Ruined it.
And I was like, we're not doing it. That's why you get PW mix, because we're using his master is going to be what we put out.
There's quite a few. There's Fortet. Have you know that? Do you know who that is?
No.
So Fortet is the guy that helps why have I completely forgotten his name? Fred Again. So Fred Again's become massive. So Fortet helped Fred Again write all of the latest albums that have just gone mad.
Yeah.
And he's like this genius. And he says that he doesn't really let people master his stuff because he may have listened to it for the last 3 months. The mastering guy is going to come in and listen to it for like 10 minutes. Not even that. And just be like, right, I'm going to make these decisions on this.
Oh my Lord, right?
And you're like, I've heard it on all these different speaker systems, different moods, different places, when I felt different things. Like, why would I let someone mess with that?
That's the feeling that I get. I can tell when someone's listened to the song a lot before working on it.
Right.
Before writing, playing, like, especially if a musician like hears it, okay, I know what line you want me to write, and then I'll play in what you said to play in. I can tell if you sat with the song for long or not.
Yeah.
And especially with the mix engineer, I can tell, because the mix engineer, they mix like art. Same with everyone's doing art on the project.
Yeah.
So I can tell when you want to do the art or if you want to get paid.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? You can hear the difference. So he's right. He's right. Don't
True.
let anyone master his.
So I've got a guy who I'll send stuff to him, and he'll be like, he'll kind of mix it first. Not mix it, but he'll say to me, if you change this, this, and this, you'll probably get more to where the place you're trying to get to, which is really cool. So he's very giving with it. So like, do that, listen to it with his amazing ears, and then kind of send it back. And on some things, I'll go like, nah, I'm not going to change that. Yeah. But these bits are quite interesting. I didn't think of it like that. And then I'll send it to him and again later. Neil.
And he doesn't
Neil
ask
Pickles,
anything for it. What's his name?
No, Neil Pickles.
Like, he doesn't ask anything for it. That's
then
art
obviously
again.
when they master,
You'll go
then
to
I pay
him.
him then. But
Great,
he's incredible.
man. This is why I like the art of it, because every stage of it it's a relationship.
Yeah.
Everyone you bring in, you're telling them help you raise your child. And if they come in on some, don't worry, give them alcohol, they're only 6. Okay, not you then.
Yeah.
And then somebody else will come in and be like, Montessori. Like, oh, that's nice. Like, it's
Montessori for your song.
Yeah.
Right, let's play it.
Break it
I
out.
was vibing down just earlier. Come on. The PW mix, yeah?
Yep.
I've been feeling a little shitty. Something out of place in life. I'm tired of living in the city. Working all the way through the night. Break down a little 60. Slowly going out of my mind. Someone tell me there's more to life. I've been down in the dirt. And I've been flat on my back. And I've seen the creeps in the mud. And I've seen the snakes in the grass. Thank God reality hit me. Told me bring it back to the beat. Now I know that there's more to me. Oh, the confusion.
That guitar.
That was Dave Marks,
Nice.
who's a bass player,
Sounds sick.
but he's just
Adds such like a weight.
Yeah.
Oh, I could be losing. Crucial is that you think I'm a motive. I can do it. So break out, do it in your own way. Bring a little something to the ceiling. Take the pains and do your own thing. You never know it until you do it. You just got to. You just watch it. You just watch it. You just got to. Yeah. Quit playing around, break out. Pack your bags and get caught. You reach your rope, up, go round. You can't find your way, I'll show you. I ain't got anyone to tell me. So I can tell you to realize that there's more to you. Oh, the confusion. I just choose to break out.
In it.
I like that.
Crucial is that you think I'm a fool. I can do it. So break out, do it in your own way.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Isn't it?
It's got a kind of industrially kind of sound. I love all those drums, man.
There's two guitarists on here. There's Dave Marks on guitar, and then there's my boy Joel Gonzalez on guitar as well.
Nice.
Oh,
Is that synth bass?
yeah.
Nice. Nice. I love the kind of
That is-
industrial, almost kind of industrially sounding drums.
There's so much
Really
industrial
nice.
stuff in there. John Blees on a different record allowed me to go to his studio and
Drummer John
record-
Blees.
Yes.
Yeah, he's amazing, man.
And allow me to record some of his instruments. And he had this. It was like chains that
Right.
you slam onto like a dustbin lid, and I was like, I need that to go
Yeah.
on some of my snare
Right.
because you get this real industrial.
Yeah, it
In
sounds
fact,
like dirt
that
a
song originally when I wrote it, it just had a drum loop by this producer called Fred Cox.
Right.
And I remember going to his studio and I was like, "Oh, what are you up to?" He was like, "I'm just recording some loops," and this is a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Can you send me that loop?" He showed me one loop of him he had just played.
Yeah.
Can I have that? And I had it, and I basically just took that 8-bar loop and wrote the whole song over that with
Wow.
it was just oohs and ahs in the background
Yeah.
and that drum loop.
Nice.
And then when I came to produce it now to finish the song, the first thing I put on was the bass line. Because I was like, oh, I know chord progression wise, I know what this song is doing. I don't need much
Yeah,
else.
what's that bass sound from? It's great.
I mess with stuff. So it starts as a trillion.
I don't know why. My brain said trillion before
Yeah.
you were going to say
It was
something.
trillion at
I
first.
love that
and then
spectrosonic stuff.
I love it, man. But I've lost trillion. I don't know why, but my trillion stopped working. I know why. It's because I ran out of hard drive space, and the first thing that had to go was my samples.
Right.
So
That's why you got to get a hard drive and put all the samples on
I
there.
had to go onto there. I was so annoyed. So they have to all go onto the same hard drive, so you can plug that
Yeah.
hard drive in, and then anyway. I'll fix it for my next laptop that I have that separate. But it was a trillion, and then I put it through so many different things because there's a certain thing I wanted. I wanted it to. That bass line is essentially one of the things that pushes the whole song for me.
Yeah, definitely.
And I knew that I didn't want it to be mixed in the position that a bass normally would be mixed
Right.
because I knew that would be like you'd have to cut out some of the middle frequencies and just let it sit down at the bottom. I was like, I needed to infringe on the song, man, a lot. So I've put it through so many things. It's like it's got a low end coming in, and then I've added some zzz on the top end of
Nice.
it. I loved playing with that bass.
Yeah.
So again, when Pete had to mix that, I was like, don't touch the bass. Leave
The
it
first
alone.
bit is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So have you been feeling shitty? Like that kind of sound, it almost like emulates the way you're the lyrics.
Yeah, that's why.
Amazing.
That's that whole thing about industrial. I'm like, and
You
I
had a
wrote
damage.
it as
You had a damage. Damage is a VST where they've done that, but at a professional
Really?
studio. So they've done is just smashed cars up and smashed up like metal things. Yeah,
One second,
Damage
might
by
write it
Heavy.
down.
I think it's Heavy City or Heavy City.
I want that.
So we're getting very nerdy on the podcast now.
Yeah.
We're going VSTs. People probably don't know what VST is.
I really want that. Because
Damage, yeah, Heavy City. So I think it's a contact plugin. I think I might
Really?
even have it on my hard drive.
We've got to do a session then. So
Yeah.
just come down and just find out what we've got.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I like writing songs like that because the song is even about I need to get out the monotony of this thing.
Yeah,
So I haven't done the video of it, but when I do the video, I'm going to definitely have a scene of me sitting in the office and you know
Yeah.
that meme of the cat doing this on the
Yeah,
laptop. I want to have that kind of
when
vibe.
you're
where-
smashing up the office,
Yeah, man.
getting out of it.
It would cost something, but it'll be worth something. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
100%.
Yeah. Vibes.
So are you gonna release that anytime soon?
Yes. Well,
Nice.
I'm working right now with a friend of mine who owns a publishing company in France. And we were basically lining it up to get released at the same time as it gets placed for a sync.
Nice.
So I went over, when I was in LA, I went to meet with the company that they work with in the States.
Cool. Yeah, I can see it being used as something like definitely over there. It's got that kind of sound.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to that.
There's so many opportunities as well out there. Different things.
I'm looking forward to that. That getting released, and then I'll release a couple more. I haven't really released for about 2 years, man. Like,
right.
I think it was just I basically threw my whole life up in the air and just to see where it would all land again.
Right.
Not deliberately, but that's what's happened. Like my whole life threw all up in the air, and it's landed now perfectly where I need it to move forward. Because I think I was getting stagnant. I was in like a band. I was in a couple of bands that I wasn't able to really get creative. I wasn't letting myself get creative anymore. And I had a couple of like business and personal relationships that I was stagnating in myself. And I kind of like, for better or for worse, threw everything up in the air.
Right.
Now that it's landed and I'm now able to look at my new landscape, I'm like, oh,
I think it's good to do that every now and again.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I have to learn to take more care of the people involved. I think I've chosen now a bigger responsibility than I used to choose. I used to let it be that I would listen to somebody else's advice, and if it didn't work for me, I'd blame them.
Right.
When I took the advice. So, and I'm no victim in my life. It's my life. But I would let it be that, I took your advice though, and if it didn't work, that's on you.
Right.
It's not at all. So I'd have a bit of that, and then also find out that if I then, for example, like I used to develop artists, and if I didn't have any time, I would just stop developing artists. But there's a few artists I know who just stopped working on their music because I wasn't developing artists anymore.
Right.
They'd be like, oh, it would be really good if I could stand by my own calling for long enough to help someone really see their vision come to life. And I wasn't always like that, which means a few people, when I threw all my stuff up in the air, quite a few people were hurt from it. A few people lost a sense of, I guess, security and foundation where they used to have it with me.
Was that at the same time as having a kid? Or
A bit before. I think I have a kid because I threw everything up in the air.
Right.
And I wasn't ever going to fulfill on who I am in the old life that I had.
Right.
I think I left myself in a few people's shadows. I let myself be somebody who was trying to live up to other people's expectations.
Right.
And
well, often they're not really thinking.
they're not,
And you can't change it anyway. There's an amazing book called, it's a really simple concept, but it's called Let Them by Mel Robbins.
I heard of that.
Yeah. It's been well kind of like pushed out.
Oh.
But yeah, it's such a simple concept, but it does really work. Like my parent, I'd say I've definitely got this thing in my head of like getting angry at strangers and getting like annoyed by what they do. And I've had to really like reset myself through just doing that, just being like, just let them do it. Just let them do it.
That's where I heard of it. She came on, it was either Diary of a CEO
she was on that. They did like a back and forth one,
yes.
right? Where he won hers, she won hers.
Yes. And she talked about the book there. And talked a lot about her daughter.
I think she co-wrote it with her or wrote it with her.
Yeah.
I think she kind of worked on it a lot.
I really like that idea. And in fact, to be fair, to the point where now the idea has gotten me, I want to read the book still. Like, definitely have to read that because it feels powerful. I've taken it to another thing for myself of, it must be working in my favor. Like, especially like, for example, traffic. When someone's driving slowly in front of me and I'm like, you're getting in my way. I want to go. I've now gotten to the point of, maybe they've been put there to slow me down.
Yeah.
Because maybe if I was over there, something would happen that's not in line with me. So maybe me in another dimension gets there faster, and that's where I crash. That's where I bump my car. That's where
or you never know what kind of day someone's having.
Never know.
Like, never know. That's why you never like start trouble with someone you don't know.
Right.
Like, you don't know anything about them, and you don't know what kind of day they're having.
Right.
So just stop.
That happened to somebody with my dad when I was younger, you know.
Really?
This guy would drive. I remember this so vividly because my dad was big. When I was a kid, my dad was enormous.
Right.
Not just to me because I was small, but like everyone is like, whoa, who's that? Who's the big giant of a guy? Yeah. And we were driving down and somebody must have cut off my dad or he cut somebody and they drove past beeping and swearing, but they got to a traffic light.
That's what they do in London as well. It's like the worst place.
They were still going at it when my dad was sitting in the car like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Like, and my dad didn't. Like, my dad, I think he had a bit of a bit of a temper when I was younger. But
Right.
at the house, he could let it out. But outside, he'd be like, I can't be a black guy with a temper in London.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
So he'd keep it together. But this guy pushed one button too far, I guess.
Right.
And suddenly, my dad just opened the door slowly as well, because he's like, there's only a certain amount I can do anyway, because I'm still who I am.
Yeah.
But he opened the door and he stood up, and you saw the guy in the other car look at him. And you just saw him shrinking.
Red light.
You just saw him shrinking his thing. And my dad, I think my dad didn't even spend much time outside the car, but almost got out to show him, you didn't know who was in this car when you were shouting and effing and blinding at me.
And the next guy might not be as nice.
Exactly, yeah. So I think the guy learned his lesson just from having to do that to my dad getting out of the car. But yeah, 100%. But it's really helped me, actually. That as soon as I heard about her saying let them,
it's so simple, but it's really effective. You think in your head like, oh, come on, just 2 words. But if you repeatedly do it, you find yourself just like, She also calls it like putting the sword down.
Yeah.
So when you go places, like, just put the sword down. Like, you don't need to fight people in, even if you're just doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
They probably don't even know you're doing it.
I need that.
And your energy is going to be dropped by those people.
Yeah.
And even they don't even know that they're dropping your energy.
Yeah.
They're not even hearing what you're saying. You're probably just muttering to yourself. I definitely used to do that. So I'm trying to get better at just being like, no, just
how's it working
use that
out?
energy. It's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely the driving thing's improved a lot. Like I enjoy driving a lot more.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, it's nice. Just be able to go places and not have to worry about that shit. Because it's kind of pointless.
It's so. I used to have this thing when I was a kid. I still have it now, but I guess my ego's relaxed a bit. But I used to have this thing where I used to think of life as the computer game in the sense of, like, when you're here, this lights up, but when you turn there, that goes dim.
Right.
And
Where
to
your
the
attention
point
is.
where your attention is lights up, and where your attention's not anymore goes dim and dark. And you might still have the room there, but the people that were in the room, when that room goes dark, when your attention's not there, the people vanish. And then when you go back there, they're back there where they, not exactly where they were, but because the programming means they would have to have been programmed a bit more life to move to wherever. So let's say I'm looking here and you're here. If I look there, you stop existing there, and whatever's here exists. When I turn back here, the program writes that you'd stood up and gone over and sat down at the couch.
Yeah.
But that's just because you need to have something have happened, because you have to be inside a realistic program. Because if you just went like that and stayed there for the next minute while I looked over there, when I look back, if you just carry on, I would notice that that's not realistic.
Right.
Realistic is you would have got up and done something else. I don't know, you might even ended up chewing on the plants.
Yeah.
Like, depending on what I think reality is,
Yeah.
chewing on the plants is realistic, then the next thing you have to have stood up and gone and chewed on the plants. So by the time I look over here and come back, that's when you get back into being real again. Everything else, you're not real. Which means while I'm driving, if somebody does something, they're not real. So as soon as I turn a corner, they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And as I go through life, it is lighting up and bringing into existence anything that I look at. And as soon as I stop looking at it, it's out of existence.
Well, that's a good way to think of it.
It used to be, for me, an egotistical way to think of it. Because it'd be like, the whole of existence is happening because I'm here.
Right.
And nothing exists when I'm not there anymore.
Yeah. I guess in anything but driving, it would then get like that, right?
Yeah.
So just little things.
Just
not in your life.
Not in my actual life.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I do believe in the other people around me. And that's why I had to, like, as I got more mature, I was like, you got to
when
kind
you're
of drop
younger,
this
you think
idea.
those kind of thoughts, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's that. What if nobody exists? And the thing is, it works too well with the rest of what I believe in terms of, like, the brain isn't actually experiencing anything out here.
Yeah.
It's just experiencing what it chooses to experience after getting a whole load of feedback.
And all from our memories and
all from memory. Yeah.
It's like in a game of music, isn't there? There's 2 things, like there's one part of you, one self, which is like the critical self, which is telling you can't do this shit, what are you doing? And then there's the other self where it's like every lesson or every musical experience you've ever had, your brain has knowledge of that. And it can draw from that. And all you got to do is shut this one up. And this one can be like flying.
It's that. It is literally that.
Yeah.
And it's which one is the most prevalent one.
One of the methods
moment.
on that actually is acting like you're someone else. So you act like you are, say you've got like a favourite sax player like Chris Potter, Joshua Redman. You'd imagine you're them on stage. So you'd be on stage and just be imagining that you're in their shoes and playing like
and then
them.
play that, and then you find something new from their.
Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting is I think a lot of my earlier music I used to write based on who I would be if I was brave, for example.
Right.
Like I've got a song that I wrote because I saw a girl at the bus stop, and I knew if I talked to this girl, we'd get married eventually. I knew it. I was 100% sure if I talked to her, but I didn't have the courage to talk to her. And also probably wasn't cool enough to make the conversation a good conversation for her. So I was like, so I didn't talk to her. And I just went and wrote a song about it. And I wrote exactly what I would have wanted to say. Still not a cool, I still didn't have the cool words. I was like, if you're going shopping, that's all right. I'll walk with you and I'll carry your bags.
Yeah.
If I was a girl in that time, I wouldn't have wanted that guy to come and hang with me. I get it. But that's what I thought was cool at the time. And I wrote it into a song. And the song actually banged. The song was really cool. But the guy in the song was just who I wish I could have been at that moment over there.
Right.
And there's a couple of songs that I wrote as who would I be if I was standing in a better skin with my brain, but in a better scenario.
Right.
How would I express myself? Most of my music, up until I was about 30, most of my music was me saying how I'd be if I was better.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And especially because I knew that also if I wanted to make a song that felt like a Michael Jackson song, I could basically replicate a Michael Jackson song and it would be exactly a Michael Jackson song, but you just wouldn't think it's a Michael Jackson song because I would have, it's my voice and I would have written my type of thing and changed the instruments in this way. But every time I hear it, I'm hearing what I did if I was Michael Jackson.
Right.
But I would also know that, that's not me though. That's if I was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
What would my song be like if I just took the influence of Michael Jackson and just did my best self?
Yeah.
So I've got a song called Believe, which if I put it next to Speed Demon, you'd be like, oh, you copied Speed Demon. You just copied Speed. To the point where, Speed Demon, you're the best one. I've got a section that does that in the song.
Right.
And I'll take you in. I go into my head voice in the same kind of thing. And at the end of it, I go back down into the thing that comes out, like, is back into the song again. With the drop that he does in Speed Demon as well.
Yeah.
I basically just replicate. I did that so much.
But you learn so much from that, man.
I learned so much.
Like, that's one thing. There's like a YouTube series about all these different producers, and he got like basically questions. What would you do? What would be the one thing you'd do? He just says take from other people. You don't have to release it, but just try and replicate some songs as a producer. Just spend like an hour a day doing that, replicating stuff. Because you'll get there new samples, you'll get like new kicks from that, and then you'll start creating music.
Doing your own thing.
And you'll have learned and leveled up next time you come back.
I had a friend who.
Are you getting any new music out this year?
100%.
Nice.
Do you know what I really want is to?
That's out on Friday. That's
really?
Yeah.
Wicked.
This Friday, yeah.
Oh, bro.
I'm excited.
You've got to have that as the backing track to like a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
I don't really know. The thing is, I don't really know what I'm doing with releasing music.
Talk to me.
I'm still just like learning about like what the fuck to do once you've released a track.
The thing is, no one knows. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
But the same as with producing, just take ideas. Like everyone is figuring out.
What do you mean by so put like any kind of video I've got, but put that as the background? Is that what you mean?
Not just video. I mean like sit and drive. Like get so you've got the stand for this.
Yeah.
But if you can get like a one that can stick to a window, for example.
Yeah.
Stick that on the window. Sit and drive and let your camera film you with the view outside the window there while you're driving. Drive to a gig and a half an hour drive. Film the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then speed it up so it's about 3 minutes long. 10x the thing. Put your song over that.
Nice.
And then that's the whole thing. And then you can put that on YouTube, put notes over it, put writing over it, or put your location as you're going. And the background, what you're seeing here is St. Paul's over there, and do that. Or like take about a 2-minute part of your drive, turn it into 15 seconds, put the best part of your song over it, put that on your Instagram. This is the song out. Like keep finding
little quirky ways. I always think in my head it has to be playing, but why does it have to be playing?
It doesn't have to be even quirky.
Yeah.
I found a really nice sunlight coming through a window when I was in San Francisco. So I dragged the chair, put it in front of there, sat down in the chair, filmed myself, just sat there in the chair. I had
I think I saw that. It looked great.
lemon. Yeah, it looked
Nice.
wicked. And I thought it was going to be mad boring. And I didn't care. It just looked really nice. I just filmed something that looked what I thought was nice.
Yeah, the thing about not caring, that's the thing, isn't it?
And don't care. Like, literally, in fact, at the end of this, let's just stare at the camera for 10 seconds.
We've definitely both looked at it a few times.
Look at it, just... You see this 10 seconds? That 5 to 6 seconds, take that, put your music over it, put it on your stories.
Yeah.
Do that. Do it with everything, all the time. Because what people,
Isn't it mad that something like 60 to 70% of people don't listen with the audio on anyway?
yeah,
It's even more than that, right?
100%, not 100% of people, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely going to be more than that.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it for them.
Yeah.
What you're doing is that you're giving people as many opportunities as they can to hear the
To
song.
then click.
Just in life.
Yeah.
They might not ever click. Bro, I know some people who've never heard the whole. I've got a song called Holler that people don't know that there's a second verse.
Right.
But they've come to a gig and they see me perform it at a gig and they remember the song and they remember the first line of the verse and they remember that the chorus is repetitive and I make them sing the chorus back. But they never went and listened to the song online. They never went and listened to it.
Right.
I don't need them to.
Yeah.
Whatever their environment was that they got the song, that's what I needed from them. That's what I needed them to have. After you've made the art and you've made it available, it's then not up to you how they take it.
Can't control it, that's true.
And don't try to.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is give them as many opportunities as Max can create for them to connect.
Right.
Somebody might connect on opportunity 1, 2, and 3. Somebody else might connect on 5, 6, and 7. Somebody else might connect on 12, 13, and 14. But you have got to make all 20.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then just let all 20 be available to people.
Yeah.
If you've only got 5 available to you, then make sure that all 5 are available because you don't know who's going to want the 5th one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And somebody might need it. Somebody might be like, my brother doesn't really like music with words on it.
Right.
It's like, I want to do my own thinking with my own words, in my own head.
Right.
So just give me some music to do that too.
So like chilled.
Just let me chill out. And sometimes not chilled. He wants to walk at a pace,
Right.
but he doesn't want someone talking in his head at the same time.
Hip-hop instrumental.
Hip-hop instrumental would be amazing for him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but I don't always want it to be like samples. Oh, so what he wants is live,
Right.
a hip-hop groove. So then if he had the first minute of your song, he would just be in. But then he's a hip-hop head. He would love to then hear a rap verse. He'd love to.
Yeah.
And then get back into what he wanted, just get back to the groove.
I might do an extended version of it as well.
Do you see what I mean?
A bit like longer versions.
Give them all the opportunities.
Yeah.
And that is the outcome.
That's the
that
thing
people are looking
I
for.
struggle with sometimes is being a bit annoying. I always think in my head.
Why do you think it's annoying?
I don't know.
It's not annoying.
That's like, I know,
I
it's
think
like
what's really annoying is not giving them as much opportunity as you can.
Yeah,
Putting
I know.
out your song, and I've done it, so I'm not like, don't let me be a hypocrite and say, I don't do this, I will tell you. But the most annoying thing you could do is have
Is
your
not
song
put out as
out
much.
and then leave it there as if your job's done with it. That part of the art is you connecting to the person that might want it. Somebody wants to do their hoovering and is looking for exactly the thing that can give them the right bounce to do that to.
Yeah.
And you not doing the work it takes to have them have that moment, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Because that means your song is just noise in the ether.
Mm-hmm.
Not even being heard, like a tree falling down in the woods. Like,
Yeah.
it's annoying that I have to think a tree just fell down. No one heard it. Who cares? Like, it's just there and no one cares. That it's just there and no one cares. That's it's like fluff in the world.
Yeah.
But if you tell someone, if you tell your world, I'm gonna give all the opportunities that Max can create for you to connect. That's all I'm gonna do. I don't need to force anything else. I play on gigs. I hang out with my family. I travel a bit. I record my podcast. I produce it at home. I tidy up. And you're going to see me give you my music through all of those different walks of my life.
Yeah.
That's all I need to do. Bro, you can just sit and meditate with the camera on you and then show that for 30 seconds, put your music over it. That's...
Yeah, I'm trying to get
an
out of the
opportunity.
thing of playing sax on everything. You don't need to do or have a saxophone with you.
You don't... Or you do. No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares enough.
Yeah.
If you think yes, you do, then the answer is yes, you do. And if you think no, you don't, then the answer is no, you don't.
Yeah.
But there's not a single... Even Kieran, who's on the track, he doesn't care.
No.
He doesn't... He just wants a moment to enjoy. And once he's enjoyed it, he's going to go on to the next moment to enjoy.
Yeah.
But if you're creating it, then the best thing you can do is stay in the thing that made you feel like finishing it.
Yeah.
And that energy, let that energy give you more ideas to give people more opportunities to see it.
Okay.
And I realize it is like confidence isn't about reality. Like confidence is just a choice.
Yeah.
It almost a stubborn foolishness. Confidence, where you're like, oh, I want an old person to hear this. So I'm going to make it available to old people. Okay, cool. Now I want this to be available so that people can hear it next to nursery rhymes. I'm going to put it there. And
Yeah.
and the thing is, no one cares. After they've heard it and had their moment and they thank you for that, they go on to care about the next thing.
Yeah.
And if you give them enough of opportunity, like, oh my God, that thing I cared about last week,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
back again.
You're seeing it from your perspective, right? You're not thinking from theirs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just let them have it from as many of their perspectives as possible.
Okay.
That's where your win is. And then and then find out what worked. And that is now the basis for doing the same thing again for the next thing you
Yeah,
release.
and then learn from it.
Learn from that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you might find a new 10 ways to let them hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Just discard the old 10 ways that didn't work. You have the 5 that did, the new 10, and you're like, a new 15 ways to give it to people.
Yeah.
Out of those, another 5 might work. Now you have 10. You can discard the 5 that don't work. Now you have 10. Now for the next one, you only have to make 5
all
new ones.
learning, yeah,
And just keep
learning,
learning.
moving forward.
And
That's cool, man.
and create your world, man. Because, bro, like, you're clearly making music that has got, like, the strings of your background connect really well with the strings of a lot of people's present.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it takes something that you're an actual musician surrounded by actual musicians
Yeah.
who love creating with you based on what you love to hear.
Yeah.
But you've got some hip hop in there, some pop in there, some live, some jazz, some soul in there.
Yeah,
So,
like
like,
fusion stuff,
you've got
yeah.
so much fusion in it, and then you just want to move well. And then because you do corporates and functions and private gigs, you see people react more. Like, there's something, artists don't even get the opportunity to see as many people react to
true.
music as people do when they're doing functions, corporates,
And what
privates.
makes them move, right?
What makes them move.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you have
I
access to
didn't
that,
think of it like that. That's very
every
true.
week, which means you're
That's
flooding
what you're focusing on.
right?
That focus you were talking about before.
So all those strings of your past, there are people that are like, they need this. They need what you've got, not anything else.
Yeah.
Which means there's not even a formula to how you give it because it's only you that could give it.
Yeah.
Which means
Very
you've got
true.
to do it as your way as possible. That's why I say talk to me because I love releasing music.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
the time that I go through the most
That's-
emotionally, but it's the
Yeah,
time
it's the
that
stuff
I
that I
get
hate.
to
It's stuff that I hate.
be Yeah.
I want to get better at.
You'll get better at it the more you do it like as you.
Yeah.
Like, I think
That's the thing. I just got to be myself.
just be yourself.
Don't do anything just because you've seen other people do it.
You will hate the
Don't
reason
follow
why
the
you
fads.
hate it is the idea that you've got to do it by someone else's standards or by someone else's pattern.
Right.
But like, if you find the thing that makes you feel good about doing it,
Yeah, that's true.
and it could be anything, but you really feel good about doing it, so that's going to be the way
Yeah,
to
I've
do
definitely tried too much, like to follow a formula too much
Yeah.
with it, or seen too many videos on how to do it. When I think I should more go down the idea of what feels good for me, and if some shit doesn't work, it's not I didn't fail. It's just like that's a
doesn't
learning
work,
curve.
yeah.
Right?
it. You're already winning. Like,
Yeah.
being able to create art. There are
Oh, yeah.
people. There
On
are
like a
people who would
very
love to.
expensive machine with all those
do you know what I
plugins
mean?
with amazing musicians. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like you're getting it in the most like this is freedom that you've got here. You
Yeah.
have the freedom to create.
100%.
You've already won then. That's the win.
Yeah.
The capacity to create is already the win.
Yeah.
And then the actual outcome of creating, that is the physical.
And I've got all my faculties and everything.
You've got all your bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything
Literally
here works, everything here works, everything here works. You've got that.
Sometimes.
You know? 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's all I got you. After that,
hours.
I'm hungry. Yeah. But like that part there, you've got that part sorted. Now the next part is how to honor that with the rest of how you operate.
Yeah, I like that what you said about it's annoying that actually it doesn't get heard. That's
Yeah.
a good way to look at it. Like just flip it.
Yeah.
Just go, wow. It'll actually piss me off if people didn't hear it.
Right?
Yeah.
And it will piss you off even more if the reason they didn't hear it is because you didn't do your best.
Yeah.
Shit, if I do my best, after that, I can be all right if it fails. Because I
Yeah.
did everything. Then clearly, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, the universe is telling you something.
Yeah. But if I didn't even do my friggin' best, I don't know who to blame. Now I've got to go into my ego space and find somebody who's at fault.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do my everything. I've got to be like, oh, it's the government. Like,
Yeah.
the government are fucking my streams.
Book I've just finished reading as well called the black box thinking. And it's like a concept that like the aviation industry learn from their mistakes.
Yep.
But like the healthcare system doesn't.
Yeah.
So they've started taking like theories and ideas from the aviation industry. Like when you have like a problem or something happens, we have a black box where this has happened before, we write it down, and then we learn from that.
Yep.
And then we move forward and like save ourselves
Wicked book.
shitloads of money.
It's a wicked book.
Yeah.
And you'll save yourself a whole load of heartache as well because I think we think it's about us. But like you said, if who's one of your heroes?
One of my heroes.
Yeah.
Or alive or dead, or either.
Either. And in any capacity as well.
Who's one of my heroes?
As soon as I said it, who came to mind? Because it doesn't have to be your top hero. It could be just somebody who I think of. When you think of heroes, and I'm not even talking about any industry, any particular line of life, hero, who comes to mind?
I don't know. I mean, give me a minute. Give me one of yours.
So one of mine is Wanye from Boyz II Men, lead singer of Boyz II Men, and it's because he wasn't the best looking guy in the group. He wasn't the tallest in the group. He wasn't the most fit in the group, but he stood out because he figured out something vocally that meant that he was the lead singer of that group. He didn't always take the first verse, but he'd be the climax of the song almost every single time for most albums. And I remember seeing him in one video where they're standing at the shoreline of some rocky sea coastline, and the water's falling over him, and he's got water pouring down him, and he is so in the camera, and he is so passionate that I was like, I can tell you're not thinking about anything but this part of what you're singing to that camera. And I replicated that, and I used to think, what would he do if he had everything that I have? Like, he had my dad as a dad, if he had my music teacher that gave him the studio keys, if he went to the same church as me and met with the same friends that we learned to sing together, went to the same youth club as me, if he had Gemma in his life and then got a daughter like my daughter that made him really feel like that kind of thing, who he had the high school friends who ended up going into business with him after high school, and if he got my manager and he got to tour with me, and if he chose a solo career after being in a group, if he had the life that I have and still ended up being him, what would he have done with this song?
Right.
Because I know he hasn't got some of the questions that I have. So what would he do with all of my tools? If I stood out of my body and just said all the things that make up Jay, but give them to him, what would he do with them? I sometimes feel like it would be remiss of me to let it be that I would say he would do more than I'm doing.
Right.
Because I'm the one who has got all the things that I've got.
Yeah.
So why should he do more with my tools than I do? Like, when I get to the thing of it not making any sense, I'm like, oh, it's my ego. It's something else in me saying I shouldn't do more with what I've got. Because when I was a kid, there was a guy down my road called Sean Emmanuel, wicked guy, really nice singer, beautiful guy, but he was nowhere near as good a singer as me. And I didn't think he was as good a writer as me. But he had a publishing deal, and I was his backup singer, and I was helping him write his songs, going to the studio, helping him vocal them, helping him with the vocal arrangements, putting the harmonies on his songs so he could release the songs. We ended up opening for Beyonce.
Wow.
And I opened for Beyonce as his backing singer. But I felt like I was a better singer than him.
Yeah.
So why was he doing better than me in my field?
Yeah.
As a singer and a songwriter, he was doing better than me. And the reason why was because he was choosing to be confident. He was choosing that he was going to take whatever. I might have 10 out of 10 gifts and he has 5 out of 10 gifts.
Right.
But he's doing 10 out of 10 action.
Yeah.
And I'm doing 5 out of 10 action.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be that way around. If I've got 10 out of 10 gifts, I've got to do 10 out of 10 action.
Yeah.
Because he was taking it as he's got 10 out of 10 gifts. I haven't got 5 out of 10 because he wasn't looking for more gifts. He was just finding out what next action he really is supposed to do and doing it. I was finding out what action I was supposed to do and finding out why I shouldn't do it. Oh, because I need to wait until or I need to get them enough money or I need someone else to support me so that I can. No, just going for it. And he was going for it. From going for it, he had a backing singer and backing vocalist and a songwriter and a vocal arranger and a vocal producer who was good looking and could dance as well and would back him up on all of his gigs because he was taking the action to honor his talent. He was doing 10 out of 10 on action. And I was like, I've done a lot of doing that in my career. I've done a lot of being able to help someone giving 10 out of 10 to help someone else facilitate what they believe in of themselves.
Yeah.
But not doing the same thing here. And like, even up until a couple of years ago, which is why I said I threw everything up in the air.
Yeah.
I said, I'm starting from scratch. What happens if I start from scratch?
Yeah.
And turns out you could do a whole load more. Just more.
Yeah.
And without any pressure as well. You can enjoy it more. You can believe in it more. You can get other people to do it with you more.
Yeah.
You can honor other people's support more. Like, you can holler at Kieran and you can be like, no matter what you're up to, I want you to just film yourself playing the bass line.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a piece of the art.
Yeah.
That somebody be like, oh yeah, there's a bass. Then they hear. Some people don't hear the bass. They dance to it. They don't hear it.
They hear the horns or something.
They don't hear the horns.
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
you just get the horns to play along
Yeah.
to the song, do a solo over the song.
Yeah.
It's another way to hear the song.
Yeah.
But what's the everything that you could do to honor that this song is great?
Mm-hmm.
Just do all of them. You don't need to do someone else's all of it. Because I can't do what Missy Elliott could do for my song.
Yeah.
But Missy Elliott can't do what I can do for my song.
Yeah. What are your strengths?
Right? I have the stems. She doesn't.
Yeah. Gregory Porter is one person I thought of.
Right.
I thought about like a
Bro.
hero.
So, okay,
Just-
hero. Corvula.
Yeah.
She's working with Gregory Porter right now, you know. But sorry, this is what I'm saying. What would you do if you were Gregory Porter with all of your tools and you had this one song?
He
hit?
just seems so fucking really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And also he just has that kind of effortless, but you know that he works his ass off as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something like that I really respect.
Yeah.
He's just got class.
You're like that, to be fair.
What's that?
You're really classy.
Yeah.
You obviously work hard,
Yeah.
but you don't show up with a whole load of effort in your spirit. You don't have this "I'm working hard" thing going on. You're really chill.
See, that's weird because in my head, I feel like I am. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And then when people say I'm relaxed, I'm like, I'm relaxed.
Yeah, you feel really relaxed.
Yeah,
Like,
Kieran said that to me the other day. She was
Yeah.
like, you seem really relaxed at the moment. I'm like, yeah, I do feel... I didn't used to feel like in my 20s. I felt like
Right.
I was like either running from trauma or trying to just drink through trauma.
Right.
Whereas now I don't really do any of that shit. So I'm just like, I feel a lot more chilled and I just address things head on
yeah.
as opposed to hiding from them and then drinking through them.
I guess you'd find yourself having a lot in common with Gregory Porter,
Yeah.
which is interesting because he's one of your heroes.
Yeah.
And so you'd probably have a conversation with him at some point and
Yeah.
find out that he probably feels the same. Oh, I used to something in my 20s and
Yeah.
I don't need to do all that. And I got into my 30s and in my 40s
Mm.
and I feel really chilled. How old is he now? Coming up 50?
Must be, yeah.
And he probably found himself being really chilled and he's like, I just address things head on now.
Yeah.
I saw him on the news and he's very direct.
He's amazing.
How he spoke, I was like, I don't know if I could put together the thought like that.
Yeah.
And-
And just the diversity of like genres that he does as well.
Yes.
Like the house music. There's a lot of house-like versions of his songs.
Yeah.
It's just effortless cool, man. I love it.
I feel like not put yourself in his shoes, put him in your shoes.
So he was the guy I was talking about earlier. So when I was talking about
Right.
the whole Royal Albert Hall thing,
Yeah.
he's I hear his voice saying,
Oh man, that's amazing.
I don't know what it is.
Bro.
Something like him saying like, in that dulcet tone, just saying Max.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? That's what I hear and see, yeah.
Do you know how close you are?
I don't know, you know.
You are so close. Sorry, I'm talking way off mic because I'm gassed. You are so close to. It's funny, like we think it's a dream. It's actually just.
But it's exciting having those little dreams, man. Little things that are like slightly little things that you work towards and that you,
You
get
might be
excited
clairvoyant.
by. Say again?
You might be clairvoyant.
What
Like
do you
it
mean?
sounds magical and da 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 da, but I mean, like the idea that you think of something and it comes true.
Yeah.
Like we think it's coincidence when it's like, like just in your mind, you don't think of the toaster being on, but you hear it pop in your head and it pops and you're like, oh, was somebody using the toaster? Yeah, I was using the toaster. And you'd be like, how did I know it was going to pop when I didn't even think it was on? It's like
Yeah.
something in the back of your mind heard that it was on.
Subconscious.
So your subconscious has put together, like you were saying about music,
Yeah.
your subconscious has put together the reality around you and notice things and put Gregory Porter close enough for you to have the visualization of him turning to you
Yeah.
and telling you to play.
There's something about him, I don't know what it is. It's like really like pulling energy. But I think a
I
lot.
don't even want to talk more on it
Why?
because
I think
you're creating something.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff gets by some of the people who say these things. I think sometimes it gets like a bit of a bad rep because I think that
Right.
those kind of people, sometimes people think, oh, it's just that kind of hippy dippy shit.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's hippy dippy.
But I think it definitely works.
But it's truth. Yeah.
Definitely works.
I think the
Definitely
truth
works.
is the hippy dippiest shit in the world. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
what?
true.
You're telling me that the whole world changes when I think it changes? Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Like, you can walk into a room and it be a horrible room. And somebody else can walk into the same room and it be the most lit up, the most
Yeah, and you
special.
never know how someone else is thinking.
Yeah.
I had to stop doing that on gigs, being like, guessing what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because you never fucking know.
You never know.
You never know and you can't change it.
And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Yeah.
The fact that nothing matters, I did this thing called Landmark. This is about 10, 15 years ago, something like that.
Right.
And one of the, like, it was a bit cultish.
Right.
I remember my sister still thinks it's a bit of a cult. And I was like, yeah, it is. Because it gets everyone thinking the same way about the same things.
Okay.
And the first kind of season of it, the first semester, I guess, or first year of it, you're learning about the fact that nothing matters. Everything in the world and in life is empty and meaningless, which kind of means the only way something makes any sense is when you put sense on it.
Right.
I could swear at you and you could be like, I was insulting you. Or in a different energy, you can think, I was being affectionate.
Right.
And really, I was being neither, and you choose what I was being.
Yeah.
In fact, you choose whether I was there at all. Nothing matters.
Yeah.
Everything is empty and meaningless, and we add on all of our thoughts and our meanings and our emotions to everything.
Yeah.
And that's what life is.
Yeah.
Which means this experience we're having right now, the only things that we get to agree on are the things that we agree on. Because just by semantics, you might be like, oh, we met at 2:30. No, we didn't. I got a quarter to. And you'd be like, actually, it wasn't 2:45, it was 47 past. So now we haven't even agreed on the time. What time did we finish? I don't know, 5, 6? No, it was 5:37. Like, or no, it was 6:02. And so I remember because the alarm went off and it was like, everyone's got a slightly different experience than the other person. And somebody's experience can be vastly different because they're focused on something else. What was the room like? Oh, it was like a small kind of thing.
Yeah.
And someone else says, oh, it was so cozy. And someone else says, oh, it had plants in the background. Like, I didn't remember plants in the background. No, of course you didn't, because all you thought of it was that it was small. Or someone else thought it was cozy and someone else thought it was green.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have a different experience of the same thing. But based on the strings of your history, you notice the world in a different way. But what that means is, you are building, you have a whole world, a whole reality that you're experiencing. And I have a whole other reality right next to you that is totally different to yours.
Yeah, and you can change it at any given moment.
Any given moment.
Yeah.
That's great, which means...
A lot of people don't think like this as well. It's very exciting. It's very refreshing, isn't it?
You'd be surprised how many people do.
Right.
That's the other side of it.
Yeah.
Because I think I think I gave up on the idea that all that's true for about 10 years of my life, 15 years of my life. I just gave up on it. I was like, it's all shit.
Yeah.
Like, you just get what you deserve and you just have to live with that.
Right.
And I started building that life and I didn't like that life. And then I said, and my mum passed and I was like, nope, we need another hippie in the world and it's got to be me.
Yeah.
So.
Would you say your mum was a hippie then?
Yeah, my mum all the way. My mum 100% knew.
My parents too.
What you believe in is the
100%.
truth. Yeah.
Right.
It's that. That's where it. So that's what it is when you're a
Yeah,
hippie, man.
Yeah.
Or you're a hippie's son. Which means that there's a certain amount of like sensible happening here.
Yeah.
That means you can rationalize the hippie dippiness of
Right.
it.
And
Which-
still do normal life.
Still do normal life. It's that. Because my mum, after she passed, I'm now blessed with, she had notes on Earl Nightingale books that she wrote. And I played one of her affirmations at the church.
Wow.
At her funeral. So everyone got to hear her talk about, I am blessed by the Most High, I am creative, I am generous. In Ghanaian accent, I am generous. I am...
Is it her saying it?
It's
as well?
her saying it.
Oh, wow.
And that, me and my sister used to listen to her and be like, what are you doing? Like, come on, get on with life. Be up to what you're up to.
Yeah.
She used to write on her wall and she used to have a thing of mark it on the wall. So she'd draw a hashtag on the wall. And that would be her marking on the wall what she believes. I
Right.
put it in physical now. You will complete on the thing I told you to. I've marked it on the wall. It's a fact now. I've put it physical. It's not just my words, it's not just my thoughts. It's
Wow.
physical. And that physical on the wall is going to be the same physical you do the thing I said. I should tell that to the whole universe. Be like, whoa, you are a hippie. You are out of your mind.
Yeah.
But after she passed, I was like, we need that energy in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise, you can just...
It takes a bit of time sometimes to realise these things, right?
Yeah.
Time and
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. You've got to let the world kind of mold itself in the way it's going to and then mold you, and let yourself mold, I guess. It took me a while. I think it's because I was taking my life for granted. I think for as long as I was taking my life for granted, like I said earlier, I'm all right. I'll always win. I'm from a whole family of people who are doing really good. I'm going to do really good. Nothing really matters. And then it's like, that's kind of taking shit for granted.
Yeah.
I can have that. I'm going to do really good, but I can only have that if I'm acting on it. If I'm being the person who is making sure of that, just by how I operate in myself, like eat well. I'm not going to do really good if I drink and smoke and drug myself into a stupor and death. Then I'm not going to do really good. But if I take care of the fact that I'm going to do really good, then I do really good. But part of it is to know it, and part of it is to choose it. And I think you're not choosing it if you're taking it for granted. I was taking it for granted and assuming when things didn't go my way, that it's out there. The world's fucking up if I'm not doing well.
I definitely spent a lot of my 20s doing that.
See what I mean?
Yeah, kind of negative thinking.
But at least you got to see that actually you're thinking. You could see the results of your thinking. The negative thinking. I got a little bit unwell. I could see my face got a bit drawn out. I felt a little bit older.
Did you ever look back at yourself with like pictures or things of yourself and think like, I look unhappy?
I look unhappy.
Yeah. And I see yourself now and I'm like, I look good.
Right. I couldn't have imagined that I would have looked from my 20s to nearly my 40s and say, oh, that's what happiness looks like. Because I thought with older age, in my 20s, I thought the older you get, the sadder you get, the more
100%.
worn you get. I didn't know the more vibrant.
Maybe you saw a lot of people that happened to.
Yeah.
I
think I saw it to my parents. I think my parents, they aged with age.
Yeah, I too.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't think that's happening now. I feel like,
No,
shoot,
people are getting better.
People are getting better.
They are getting younger.
Oh man, I've got a Harvey water filter in my house.
Nice.
The water I shower with is fresh filtered water every
Nice.
day. I didn't have that growing up. So many things are just available.
Yeah.
Just available.
And you can also listen to things like this, where you can listen
Yes.
to podcasts about people talk about stuff. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
You couldn't have, you just had
Man.
to rely on conversations you had with your friends.
And you never know what they're listening to create their conversation. It's not so much choice.
Yeah.
You just take.
We're
as
very
much
lucky
as
in
the
that
best.
regard as well.
Yeah.
And like listening to music, being able to like take influence from stuff. Just being able to go. As
Oh my
opposed to
God.
like going through fucking records.
Yep.
And all that.
And I remember when I was a kid, my dad didn't used to like what I now know as secular music.
Right.
Two things you could listen to in our house was folk music and African hymns. That's it. That's all we really heard. Like, and African hymns were just like normal hymns that you'd normally hear, but just with an African choir singing them. So you just hear the African accent on them. Sometimes you hear some of like high life or hip life playing but it's gospel in Ghana or folk music. My dad used to love folk music.
Right.
Or kind of like old school Americana kind of vibes.
Right.
That would be my dad's thing. Which meant I didn't really even care about music when I was really young. Just it's all theory based. Until my dad moved out, my brother showed me hip hop, and I was like, "Oh, music can be fun."
Yeah. What is this?
Right. And I think, but even that is like as you get older, and as I've gotten older, I realized it's like access is opening exponentially. You get more, and then on top of the more, you have even more. So it's not even in a linear way. You don't get more and then times it by 2, then by 3, it's like times 2, then 8, then 20, then 100. Then we get so much more, and then it becomes even more about how much you choose.
Yeah.
Because I only realized the other day, if I watch a film, there's so many movies I can watch right now. I'm signed up to Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney.
Yeah. Same.
And that means I can watch 1,000 films a month if I want to.
Yeah.
And the thing is, some films inspire me. I love watching The Matrix. There is no spoon. I go to myself, my God, there is no spoon. But if I watch John Q, I'm like, oh man, I hope I don't have to ever go to a hospital because I won't get taken care of. And I'm like, imagine watching like 10 movies that could really send your energy negative and then trying to go out into a writing session.
Yeah.
Like,
Imagine 10 thoughts like that as well.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other, like right now with all the access, you have even more responsibility to choose. And then on top of it, you've got kids. So they're going to look at your choices and say, oh, I'll make choices like my dad. I didn't even know I was making choices like my dad until I grew up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shoot, I've replicated my dad's set of choices.
Yeah, my kid Samson said that to me. He did something. And I was like, why are you doing that? He goes, you know that kids copy adults, right?
Is that what your kid said?
He just looked at me and I was like, I just walked out. I was just like, no, actually, I stood there with my mouth open. He just walked out. Like, all right.
Whoa.
He's only 4.
Whoa. A 4-year-old said that. That is
Completely
wisdom.
dead eye. Just looked at me. Like, you don't know that, Dad. Come on.
Oh, shoot.
Absolute burn.
You see that? My daughter had this thing where if she felt like something was too hard, she'd cry until she doesn't have to do it.
Right.
And she started it very early. She started it when she was about 3 or 4 months old. Like, I remember the first time, because we started her on solids, and quite immediately I tried giving her the spoon to try take it for herself. And the first time I gave her the spoon, she cried her eyes out while I was trying to put it in her hand, because she knew, I say the cause, I don't know the cause, but it felt like she knew this is me saying, you got to do this yourself.
Yeah.
And the tears she put down were like, I'm trying to take her hand off her arm. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is what I do. Like, if something's too hard, I sulk first and try later.
Right.
And I was like, shit, I've got to change this, because
You think she noticed that early on?
she noticed it very early on. Listen,
Well, I guess
fatherhood
it's also genetics and it's
yes,
both.
Yeah.
Your nature and the nurture.
Oh my Lord, it made me so uncomfortable, because
Right.
I didn't try to teach her that, which meant it was in some of the underlying patterns that I have. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I do that as well. I sulk with people. You notice and you go, fuck. They do copy us.
Yeah. I was like, and the thing is that Gemma would have noticed, and she would have tried to have told me about it. And I will learn it for myself, and I'll come back to her and say, oh, I just figured this out. And she'll be like, yeah, I don't want to be I told you so, but I told you so kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And she
Forever
would have been telling me
learning,
for
man.
months. And there's so much of being just a person that Gemma's been trying to tell me, you could do life
sounds
like
great.
this. She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
One of her favorite things that she said to me recently is, you don't need to do life on hard mode.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck. First time she said it, I was like, I'm not doing life on hard mode. Sounds like someone doing life on hard mode.
That's a response of a hard mode.
And I'm like, oh, like I could feel my whole bum clench up. And I responded from inside hard mode. And
Yeah. And then you catch yourself and you go, oh, fuck.
I catch myself a month later
Yeah.
and tried to come to her with an epiphany. And she's like, I don't want your friggin' epiphany. I don't want
did
it.
this a month ago.
A month ago. I'm doing something else now. Like, we are doing something else now.
That's funny.
Like, she's phenomenal, because it's like speaking. When I speak to her, sometimes I feel like I'm speaking to God.
Right.
Like, I feel like I'm speaking to, like, the entity that understands, but doesn't need to give me anything.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I don't need to give you anything. I don't need to give you compassion. Give it to yourself, and you won't feel like you need it from me. I don't need to give you any forgiveness. Give it to yourself. You won't feel like you'll need it from me. You only feel like you need it from me because you're not giving it to yourself. So give it to yourself, and then let's have a new conversation. Let's find out what conversation we would have if you stood on your own merit, stood on the greatness that you already are, and then found out what conversation we'd have. And it blows my mind,
You
because
get a lot of that ownership from her.
so much,
Yeah,
so much, man.
There's a book as well by Jocko Willink, isn't there? Extreme ownership.
Really,
About like owning all of those things.
man, it's worth it.
Owning them.
I need to write that down as well. So
What
extreme
time are we on, by
ownership.
the way?
It is 6:10.
Wowzers. Smashing it, mate. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up,
Come
man.
on.
This was fantastic, bro.
Been
Thank you
absolute
so
legend.
much, man.
Thank you very much,
Yes.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Great, man.